on drugs,
Yes.
and they don't want them to be off of drugs.
Well, they would of course say that,
Yeah.
but when you talk about forcing people through arrest and either time in jail or time in rehab, they think that's unethical. They think people should be allowed to use and get sober if and when they want to. They just want them to be safe while using. So they take up this spot. So this group, I believe they consider themselves a mutual aid group. I'd have to look that up. And by mutual aid, I mean they fund the group themselves. So I don't think it's a nonprofit, and they take up this whole space. And if you come and film them, they get very angry and aggressive.
Did they come out?
Thursday afternoon. So I know it's definitely worth. So they used to do this right in front of school, which was adjacent to a school, and it was bringing people right next to the school who were actually trying drugs, and it was also in a neighborhood, and there was a big fight over it. And I believe that the DA didn't get involved, and there were some people arrested for it. They were told they could not, they don't have any permission to do it. This is Multnomah County Health, and so they never, County has never said anything about them being down here. I actually have some pictures of them, see if I can find it.
The only issue you're talking about.
They're the only one to stop recording, because he was very open about it, and I was being a little more sneaky. So they're helping people by providing food kits and all the rest to do drugs and some Narcan. And if they even remotely think that you might not be with them, they will try to drive you out of the area.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so.
And throughout the city, there's a lot of people who kind of behave the same way.
Yes.
Mhm.
See a lot of mental illness on the streets. In any place where they, I think, have a large population of homeless, we don't hospitalize people anymore. They have to volunteer themselves to be hospitalized. So
Oh, wow.
it's a lot of this on Portland streets.
Is their family, like,
Sometimes their families are looking for them. Sometimes they're in completely different cities. So, and they don't know what happened to their family.
I mean, in my opinion, and I guess this would be extreme, I don't even know if I would post this, but like, they should put everyone in a mental hospital. Yeah, isn't that what they used to do?
They did used to do that, and so I'm not as knowledgeable about this, but I'm gonna give you kind of my version of it. A long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the Supreme Court ruling or if really it was just a change in policy, because they used to hospitalize people in mental hospitals for nefarious reasons. They weren't necessarily insane. And so there was like a pendulum swing to where we can't do that. So now they're not hospitalizing anybody. It's very difficult to get somebody 5150 to put into a mental hospital. They have to commit a crime.
Or 14 crimes.
Yes, or 14 crimes. And then a lot of times they have to ask their permission. It's just, I've seen so much mental illness on the streets, and I think it's so dangerous for those people. They are so vulnerable, and it's dangerous for people walking around. If somebody's in the middle of a psychotic episode, they go this way. They hang out in this part of town because there is a lot of help for them here. There's the missions, there's places that serve food, there's shelters, and it's just kind of tolerated that they can live on the street. So you can see a tent right here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the tents will come from the city or the county or a nonprofit that is funded by our dollars. And if it's tiny bit better than it was, but let's go this way. People are allowed to camp on the streets, and somebody has to make a complaint about them, sometimes several times, before they actually come out and sweep the camps. They'll post a notification, like on a tree around, there's legal rules about that.
Yeah.
And then they'll give a certain amount of time, like 8 to 10 days, and then they'll come by and they'll bring a company that specializes in cleanup. And they'll pick up the tents and move them.
I did see a notice at the ICE facility that said that they gave them 30 days or something to grab their stuff.
Yeah, they do this every week, actually. So I shouldn't say every week, it could be anywhere from 5 to 15 days. And they'll come by and grab their stuff. And they'll tell them that they can pick it up in 4 hours at a warehouse in the city. So they can recover their things, but I don't know if people always do. I've actually seen a lot of personal items just left out on the streets, like somebody's got out of the hospital. There's photographs of their kids. There's a needle, a used needle. There's socks. There's some of their clothes, a shoe.
I think it's devastating that they give them resources to live outside instead of resources
To get inside, to be housed.
Mhm.
And I will say, some people do get housed, but they do not demand they get sober first. And I think this was in Seattle. There's a great group called We Heart Seattle,
Okay.
and they help people get off the streets. But they were interviewing this woman who slept on the streets, but actually had an apartment. And it was
System.
a
What's up,
disaster.
Yaki?
You can imagine if you're in the throes of addiction and mental illness is very difficult to take care of in an
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah, of course.
So we have a housing first policy, I believe, in the whole state.
Yeah,
So you
right.
don't have,
Housing first, my ass.
to get sober to get into housing. And that's terrible for the landlords. I know. And terrible for the people, like, they'll die that way. There are people that die on these streets every day in the squalor. What we saw is just 25% of what I've seen previously.
So what have they been doing that's been working that has proved it? Or,
I think they just move people.
oh,
I do think there may be a program where they offer people tickets home,
oh wow.
but I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where these people go. I do know that before Trump said it looked like a war zone, it was definitely worse. Because I have driven around, I was staying down here,
Yeah.
and after he said that, I was like, wow, things look a little better. So I'm not saying for sure that they cleaned up because
Somebody else told me the same thing. It was a liberal too.
yeah, I do think that they move people, they clean stuff up. I don't know where they went to, but
What's up,
we'll go
dude?
check
Just
out
up
places.
by.
Bridges, kind of.
I love
Okay,
Bridget.
for sure. Just chilling. About to smoke.
They've fenced off that entire area. They put blocks under the bridge, those huge boulders. And I'm sure you'll see them somewhere here. Wow. Well, so you can get tents there. You'd be surprised at what small spaces people put their tents in.
In Denver, the homelessness is pretty bad too. It's began to spew out to smaller cities. It's kind of the same.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the town, my hometown, which I live next to now, has a organization, Crossroads Communities, and they are actually helping people get housed. It's one of the best organizations I have ever seen working. They actually have levels of housing. Some people are not on drugs, they've just had hard times. They connect them with services. They figure out if they have mental health issues. They get that treated. They put them at a housing level that's appropriate for them. It's kind of like a business in that they watch their dollars very closely so that every dollar spent has value to it because these human beings have value. It's not just money to enrich these people.
Yeah.
And so they connect them to services. And if they are in addiction and they're willing to get treatment, they help them. And so the homeless population in my hometown is much lower than surrounding areas that have low barrier shelters where people can sleep. I personally think asking people to get sober is the best possible thing that you can do for them.
Yeah, of course, because you're not enabling it.
Yeah, and it just means they can die on the streets. Okay, so any area like this where they could pitch a tent. And of course, I want people to have shelter, but I would like for people to be sober and mentally well.
And it's also believing
What's
that
up?
they can.
How's it going?
Yes, it's like the harm reduction and the people just giving up on these people.
How's my
It's
night?
so dehumanizing. It's like,
Pretty good. I just had some Chipotle. Now I'm just watching some YouTube. How are you doing? What you up to?
they don't believe in them, they don't want them to have better.
They're a really dehumanizing group. And it relates the same mentality to like transgenders having high suicide rates, and they're like, oh well, it goes down when they transition. But it's like their suicide rates are already so high because people are encouraging them to transition, or you know.
From what I have read, and again, I quote studies, so people would have to look it up, is that
What?
the suicide rate doesn't
What?
necessarily go down when you transition. And of course, so personally, I want people who are adults to be able to, I don't want anybody to do that. If you're an
Shot,
adult
no,
and
I'm
that's something you choose to do, I don't need to be involved in that, but I don't
Yeah.
think the state should pay for it, and I don't think, as a male, you should be in women's spaces. So,
That's a very, very reasonable way of thinking, and I believe that a lot of conservatives agree with that. They're just
I
like,
do too.
don't mess with our children. You can want to be called whatever you want, but don't force us to call you whatever imaginary thing, because it's when you start to infringe on other people's rights that on other people's rights that it becomes a problem. And it's similar with the homeless people when they're infringing on other people's rights to go on public transportation with urine, and the businesses. I feel bad for the businesses here that have the encampments in front of them and people don't want to go inside.
oh yeah, I have actually seen people doing drugs on public transportation. And I think about the bus drivers, like what a terrifying job that can be. There's a great guy, I'm not gonna name his handle because I don't want him to get any flack from me mentioning him. But he's a bus driver here and he tells stories and he has great stories. He
Whoa.
has some scary stories too. So I think he's a big guy. I think he can probably handle himself, but I'm sure his wife worries about him. We're just about ready to, the Lloyd Center is over here,
She's explaining that this mall and area used to be packed.
packed with people.
Lloyd Center.
Portland is beautiful from above. You know, you're not as popular anymore, and that's why they're going out of business. But
I don't know, the malls by me, like, or, I mean, I know plenty of malls that are always popping.
yeah, and it's not like that here. So it would likes to say everything's fine here.
Yeah.
Look at that. They're flying that flag and they're falling apart.
Wow, I got some touching music here. Touching the decline of the mall.
Oh, that's a beautiful design. Yeah,
Right?
like the most, like, unoptimal way to walk up the stairs. Aww. Oh, she used to practice here.
Boy, this is busier than I've seen, but look, like closed.
And it is a Saturday too.
It's a Saturday.
Man, it's all empty.
We'll just walk down to the end here and then back.
It's so empty that they just made it like a market.
Flea market.
Yeah, that's weird. This is so weird. What the heck? What's going on? Nobody wants to pay rent?
Yeah.
Guys, this is absolutely insane. All of the store fronts are completely shut down. You can see so many of them are empty. And so people have began to put out these booths.
Airbnb. The last 500 people calls. I'm here every week so far, yeah. Yeah, it's going sad.
The video. I was just curious, like, how do you rent out a spot here?
Oh, you can just talk to the event organizer. He's, where is he? Do you know where he is?
I know that he is that direction. I do not.
Is it an event, or do you guys always come out every weekend?
We do come out every weekend. It is an event. I don't know where it's advertised right now. I think it's advertised on like Facebook and Instagram, but it's the Twin Oaks Show, I believe is what it's called.
That's this.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so,
Because a lot of the like actual stores are closed. It's pretty easy.
yeah, the mall itself is very, close to being abandoned, but, this is an event, I mean, I learned of this through word of mouth, like, I just had a friend who did this, and so I started doing it, I love it, so. Yeah, it was something kind of funny that spurred up out of nowhere.
Wow, interesting. The mall is not completely abandoned yet. There's booths.
I just asked him, well, how come all the stores in here? And he's like, yeah, I don't think people come here anymore.
And that guy is like, it's close to being abandoned.
Yeah. It looks like a ghost mall. You know, there's like a few stores here and there. And,
But I mean, even though this is happening, it's still kind of bizarre.
it's really strange. Like, it's not even in a store, area. It's just out in the walkway.
There's so much empty space. It looks like the second and third floor are just,
Let's go up to the second floor and walk back that way.
I'm surprised that the escalators were screwed
When we were driving through that park garage, I'm like, oh, they would bring their family here. But now I know it's for the Pokemon convention here.
So they're doing some type of Pokemon
It's a Pokemon card game, a sale. There's a salon. So when people say Portland is not doing all these things that I think of,
I mean,
like
like big
that.
brands, you know?
Yeah, a lot of places went out of business, and closed down any of their stores. I do know that. But
Expose.
they're not here. I would put money on it's because of the amount of theft there.
I have never seen anything like this.
Isn't this crazy? Here's more of the
Apple.
I think that was an Apple store,
What
but
is
it's
it?
empty. What was it? More than Pokemon.
Oh,
It's a craft fair.
I have never seen anything like this.
Isn't this crazy?
It's like usually you see this in outdoor malls, you know?
Yes. But it's so flea market and it's going to be an Apple store or something like it.
No, this was totally an Apple.
Oh, no, it was
store.
Ulta.
What?
It was Ulta.
How do you know that?
Because right there it says shop 24/7. So don't.
Oh, wow, good eye. Now it is the spot market, so that's what. Wow.
What's up, Alley Cat?
This thing. That was a massive Ulta.
Yeah. This was like the mall to go shopping at. Because their movie theater was across the street and they have a movie theater in a court here. And I would take my kids to movies here, like all the time. And to the outback one. Yeah,
That's so sad.
so this is like, looks like a place for kids to play. Floodland play space.
This store is open.
But that used to be, that would have been like, not Hot Topic, but the other one
Spencer's?
is Spencer's maybe. And now it's the arcades.
And it's bizarre because these massive brands like Ulta,
Charlotte Russe, 21 Forever.
Forever 21,
Yeah, that one.
and
Include, I don't shop there.
they've gone out of business in a very happening big major city. It's like, why?
I believe that it's because of property crimes, theft. I do know that's a huge problem in Portland. In fact, Portland was the #1 property crime. I don't know about retail theft, but property crime in the nation right now.
Oh
So that anchor store is gone.
my God.
I think that was the one.
And it's like the stores that are in business are ones I've never really heard of
Yeah.
before.
GameStop?
They're like, it reminds me of the Asian malls in Southeast Portland. So there is a Barnes and Noble still open.
Wow. I like Barnes and Noble.
I do too. But the jewelers gone,
I feel like you know it's bad when the jeweler is gone.
store closing. The
80
location only.
80% off this location only. Ooh, caramel corn. That was cool though, the
80%
ice skating
off?
rink. Oh,
What?
it's right here.
For what?
That's so cute.
What the fuck is 80% off?
Too. But the jewelers gone,
I feel like you know it's bad when the jeweler is gone.
store closing.
80
Location only.
80% off this location only. Ooh, caramel corn. That was cool though, the ice skating rink. Oh, it's right here. That's so cute. Look at how sad this is. It is a Saturday. And as you can see, this entire row, there's a store here, and the rest of the aisle is empty. I don't see one other store down there, do you?
I know.
I'm gonna run over just to check really quick. So you guys can see this store is still in business. Down there, it is completely empty, and up top as well. And all down this path, this entire mall is just completely shut down and abandoned. This entire aisle here is empty. I've never seen a mall in a major city like this before.
Fucking crazy.
It goes on and on.
So I had 4 of these put in my driveway. Have you ever seen one of these?
I haven't.
They're called caltrops. I had never seen one in real life, and didn't even remember hearing about them. And I found one in my truck tire, and my SUV tire had gone flat the day before, and I thought I just had maybe worn my tire out, but had actually ran over one of these. And there were 2 more of them in my driveway. I live about 90 minutes south of Portland and in the country. And somebody, and I guarantee this is somebody associated with the far left, came in and threw 4 of these in my driveway and punctured my tires. So they're rebar welded together. And this was something that the Portland police found in 2020. They flattened their tires, they threw them out the road. The cops ran over them. So
That's terrifying. And like, how do you feel for your safety, in your house and?
they had posted a picture of my house from my driveway on X. It's still up. I can show you.
Speaking about Delonte, apparently this post from Raindrops Media says that a couple accused of exploiting former NBA player Delonte West to go viral after letting him stay at their house. The woman denies the claim and says they're helping him out of pure kindness and nothing else. So maybe Delonte is on a good path.
Chilling, we just got off the live. Got the homie, always looking fresh. And we just want to say that we love you guys. And we hope you have a blessed day.
My husband nor I benefit anyway, financially. We actually lose out financially by what we're doing.
Yeah, it does not look nice to have Delonte in their house in the current moment. You know, I'm sure it has created a mess in some ways.
We are coming out of our own pockets. I need this to be understood. That we are doing this out of the graciousness of our hearts and the kindness of our soul. And I hope that you guys can find peace and love within yourself.
Okay, but I do find it incredibly unlikely that they would have done that if it was just a random homeless person, right?
So, it's Chloe and it's Delonte.
Well, he's famous.
And we're here to tell you that this moment.
Yeah, we're in the house, we're not just any random place, we're in the house.
Yeah, he's actually at my house. And we're not exploiting him. He is,
Say something like that.
like, why would somebody say that? Thank you, Delonte, for standing up for us, because people are being really cold in here right now. We love you always. All right, guys.
I mean, as Delonte looks happy with it, and if this is a progression and this is a few days later, he's already looking better.
It's for whoever has concerns and like to know that he was okay. He's here and he's fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
And was not found unconscious after he left our house. Okay, guys, so I have to stop the video because sometimes Delonte is not in the best mental state when he comes by, and he just wasn't today. But
I don't know. See, the line between helping and then being involved is really confusing to me. Because it's not like you want to begin hanging around Delonte and his friends, you know, and that could happen. And so, I don't know. It's a confusing time, but ultimately, if we're taking care of ourselves and we're doing the best that we can do, we're doing our part. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that going back to Portland, it does seem like the homelessness and the protests against ICE really do seem to clash, because they have this they have encampments throughout the city, and a lot of times they seem like no-go zones, and they're places that people will get angry at you if you're walking down the street maybe. And obviously a lot of the homeless people are incredibly nice. However, the Portland ICE protester homeless people are a whole different level of anger. It is bizarre to me that their mayors and their city and their police don't take any action at all. In fact, the only action that they take is to leave them there. Just let them be. Let them put themselves in danger. Let them put their fires. Let them live on the street. Let them build encampments. Let them harass the people who live around. Let them make their music. Let them run naked down the street. It's just really weird. The truth is that Oregon as a state ranks 42 overall according to Mental Health America. So the other states that are lower than that are probably just empty. Approximately 1 in 3 adults in Oregon experiences mental illness. To me, when I was walking throughout the city of Portland, people look normal, but some of them act kind of bizarre, a little strange.
Bizarre.
And some of them are talking to themselves, maybe some type of schizophrenia. That kind of behavior is very normal, and it's sad because it is a gorgeous city. I have never seen such a beautiful fall. There were so many red trees. They have the most gorgeous lakes and houses as well. And so some people are doing incredibly well in Portland, but some others, man, they're really struggling. And I think that that shows up on the financial side of Portland as well. When you search up how is Portland's economy, it says that Portland's economy is currently struggling with its performance lagging behind peer regions and the national average, marked by poor job growth. I wonder why that could be when you have people who are not motivated to work in key sectors like construction and a decline in office demand. And that mall that we went to that is completely bankrupt, they filed for foreclosure. They are planning to use it for office space or some type of entertainment, but how are you going to put offices when there's no growth in the job market or no reason to have an office when people are just living outside in tents and wouldn't even want to go anywhere else? They just claim that as...
It's like 12%, 17%, like a, or even smaller number. It's a pretty small number.
Discourse on how to solve homelessness. Ultimately, I believe that when a person is motivated enough to get off of the streets, then they will do it. When there is a will, there is a way. There's more than 700,000 homeless people in our country, which is increasing year by year by like 18%. So this is obviously a huge issue, and I do believe that it lies in just a lack of personal motivation. What you're seeing right now is the nicest, most PG side of homelessness in Portland. This next video is so important because this homeless man in Portland shares the reasons why he is stuck in this cycle of being homeless.
How many years have you been homeless in Portland? 5 years. I'd like you to count how many times you've been approached by an outreach worker offered you a permanent solution. You know why I knew you were going to answer that, or you're going to say 1 or 2 times. And that's the sad thing. Now, what you have been approached by 1,000 times is harm reduction workers, people giving you food, water, blankets, tents, but nothing to really break that cycle, brother.
Yeah.
It really does sound like the system in Portland and in a lot of major cities throughout the country is meant to encourage people down this path. And I do believe that there are certain institutions and organizations in place that encourage homelessness because it destabilizes the economy, the city, and they are trying to bring our country down. They're trying to raise the debt and bankrupt the country, which they have been doing successfully for a very long time. We're around $40 trillion in debt, and they are sucking money out of taxpayers and funding these drug addictions. This man is sitting on a sidewalk who is obviously on something that is not good for him, that could potentially take his life away, and that is what I believe the enemy within wants. They want more and more people living these unproductive lives where they are a burden and a safety hazard to everybody else, and it just creates a really toxic environment. Would you like to walk down the sidewalk and see this? Obviously, a scene like this is going to make people feel very sad. And a lot of times people want to offer their help, and so the way
That's literally right in front of my house. Literally.
is that they think of doing this is to give them money, which could also be dangerous, or it's donating to organizations which many times are just further encouraging them down the same exact path. They give them tents and resources to continue their drug addiction and continue this really unfortunate behavior. And I believe at this point, the most important thing that we can be doing is encouraging our youth and making sure that we are having a lot of very open conversations with them about the dangers of drugs. And that if they do them, and also to make them aware of gateway drugs, and that if they do them, they could very easily lead themselves down a path like this. Make them aware of the importance of the people that they surround themselves with in high school and in the university. Along with the issue of tents, all throughout Portland, under practically every bridge, there is lines of RVs and people living out of vehicles as well, and they look like they have been there permanently. I'm sure that some of these tires are flat, a lot of these RVs look pretty old, and so it's likely that they have not moved from there in a year, a long time, maybe even longer than that. And on top of them living there, it's unfortunate that these streets are filled with trash, and a lot of times it seems like the people who live there are attached to these belongings and they don't want to get rid of them. And so if the city comes and cleans them up, they feel like it is a massive injustice that they took away all their trash, that they cleaned up the street. To me, this meme made a lot of sense. You have the county handing out tents, oh, such a nice, wonderful thing, and then you have the city removing tents, which I think should be the only thing that they do. Because if they keep making these circles, they're going nowhere, they're chasing their tail like a dog. They should clean up the tents and stop purchasing tents to hand out. In some ways, doesn't it also seem like there's this mentality that has kind of infiltrated the country that's like, oh, well, people have the freedom to live however they want, and if they want to be free from work and responsibilities, they can live on the street, they're not going to bother anybody else. But that is so far from the truth, because what they do all day long is bother everybody else. And that's the reason why fires pop up. We saw what happened in Los Angeles, that was detrimental. And there's fires that pop up throughout Seattle and in the streets of Portland as well, which is very dangerous.
What are you doing?
Good. All right. I don't know what to watch now.
What time is it? 7 o'clock?
Pretty much every morning you wake.
It's
Introducing artisan-style pizzas from Little Caesars, starting at just $7.99.
Brianna, thank you for the like. Appreciate you.
Witches, wizards, and magical misfits, give it up for the broom shaking, spell-breaking sound of the Beetlewards! On rhythm guitar and ridiculous charm, it's John Putterman. On bass and binding spells, Paul McDubby. Keeping time with a phoenix feather wand, the drum wizard Rongo Weastar. And on lead guitar as dark as the dungeons, the quiet spellmaster himself, Snarrison! 1, 2, 3, 4. Born in the cupboard, under the stand. Nobody saw him, nobody cared. Till the owls all flew and letters came. Do-do-do, and it called his name. Patronum, hurrah, magic sings where the dreamers are. Shali-shala, sing-go-sing, wobble-dee-double-dee, fly away. Up on a broomstick, high in the sky, spider crawling, snakes passing by. Trouble will follow, it always will. Do-do-do, but he's standing still. Patronum, hurrah, magic sings where the dreamers are. Shali-shala,
Oh, my bad. I said I'm in Portland, Oregon.
sing-go-sing, wobble-dee-double-dee, fly away. When the shadows whisper, snakes will creep, and the night remembers what secrets keep. Through the fear and fire, he won't give in. Do-do-do, let the light begin. Back in the tower, candles still glow. Dreams in the window, stories they know. He's just a boy, but he made it through. Do-do-do, and the song feels true. Patronum, hurrah, magic seems where the dreamers are. Shali-shala, sing-go-sing, wobble-dee-double-dee, fly away. He's alive and the story grows. Every friend in the whole world knows. Shali-shala, sing-go-sing, wobble-dee-double-dee, fly away. Shali-shala, Wingardium sway, wobble-dee-double-dee, soar away. Shali-shala, sing-go-sing, wobble-dee-double-dee, fade away, fly away.
Double D, double D.
In the Win with Zen sweepstakes, you can get a chance to win $100,000. But there's more than one way to win with Zen. Here's how it works. For 5 weeks until November 24th.
Well, good evening, everybody. We feel very relieved tonight. The Democrat shutdown is finally over, thanks to House and Senate Republicans who stood together to get the job done. Absolutely no question in anybody's mind now that the Democrats were responsible for this. What happened? Millions of American families went without food on their table. You had millions of Americans stranded in airports, their flights canceled and delayed. You had troops and federal employees wondering where their next paycheck would come from. The Democrats openly admitted, many of them said it in their own words, that they used the American people as leverage in this political game. They knew that it would cause that pain to the people, and they did it anyway. They did it for their own selfish purposes, their political purposes, and it was a game they played with real people's lives. It's something that is very difficult to forgive. I want to say that all this was utterly pointless and foolish. This outcome was totally foreseeable.
It's interesting. One thing that Israel should probably add to his timeline is how I predicted exactly what he would do. These aren't even criticisms. So what he wanted to do was do what's called audience hijacking. He wanted to have a lot of people on him because he has this little teeny tiny blog.
Now, the WPATH had what is called the WPATH leaks in 2022, where they showed that internally a bunch of documents were leaked, where that process that you just said, they have to get read out by like 2 other people, professionals.
I've had a lot of
Other David. Happy holidays.
David, thank you, Mum. David, our son. Very nice.
Other David. Also our son. Well,
Yeah.
we're good. 2 more days.
Announcing Steam hardware. This came out like an hour ago, right? It came out an hour ago. People are going crazy about this. So Steam controller, Steam machine, Steam frame. Watch our jazzy announcement video and wish list here, all right? And do you remember what I said before about how I wanted to, I wanted to have Starforge make a black box that didn't have any lights in it. There were no frills. There was nothing. It was just a black box that you could buy and it would play video games. A big black box. Yes, exactly. And what we have here is a small black box.
Hey everyone, this is Steam Deck.
Okay.
Steam Deck is our powerful, portable,
I have that.
handheld gaming PC
I have these.
that lets you take your
Yeah.
Steam library with
Where
you
is it?
anywhere. We're pretty proud of it. People who own Steam Decks have been playing everywhere, and we couldn't be happier with the response we've heard from all of you. We're excited
Nice.
to talk about the future of Steam Deck, but not today.
Oh, fuck you, bitch.
This isn't a video about the future of Steam Deck. This is a video about the future of Steam hardware. Today, we're announcing 3 new members of the Steam hardware lineup, all connected.
It's kind of a big deal. They're just like, yeah, by the way, we're going to bring this out. Yeah, there's like 3 new things.
How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, it's coming out right now.
With powerful PC gaming. All are optimized for gaming with Steam, and all are shipping in early 2026. Let's start with this one.
Okay. The controller. Okay, so yeah, I've seen these before. This looks like an Xbox.
This is the new Steam.
This is like a fat Xbox controller. It's like an Xbox controller with 2 beer bellies.
In control. The new Steam controller puts all of your Steam
It
games
is.
at your fingertips, so you can play wherever and however you want. Just like with Steam Deck, we want you
Yeah.
to be able to play any game with your Steam controller.
Right.
Even games never built with a controller.
Balataro.
It has all the great features from Steam Deck, like trackpads, gyro, and back buttons.
Wow.
All in a comfortable form factor. Its next generation magnetic thumbsticks let you play with improved responsiveness and longevity. We've put capacitive touch sensors on the thumbsticks and now on the back of the controller too, so you can enable precision gyro aiming with a touch of your thumb or your pinky if you're feeling fancy. Oh, play for way too long with a rechargeable lithium-ion battery that allows for over 35 hours of playtime.
That's crazy. 35 hours for a fucking controller? Wow.
With Steam Controller, we want to make charging and wireless pairing something that's
NVIDIA
actually easy.
1070 GPU.
That's why we created the Puck. The Puck is a combination of wireless adapter and magnetic charger included with every Steam.
I'm thinking about investing in NVIDIA. Seems like those kids are going places.
Control. Snap it on to charge.
Damn, so you don't even need to plug that shit in. It just connects like a Lego. Oh wow. This looks good.
Once you're charged up,
That's
snap
sick.
off.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You can play over Bluetooth or a wired connection too. The new Steam controller works with any device running Steam or Steam Link, whether it's a PC, Mac, handheld, smartphone, Steam Deck, or the new Steam machine.
So it just works with everything. That's awesome.
Oh, this is the new Steam machine.
Oh! Damn! Oh shit!
Steam machine is a...
This thing is small too! Look at it!
powerful gaming PC.
Yes, it's a
in
game.
small but mighty package.
Oh, yeah.
Designed for your games on
Put a
the big
little
screen.
panel on it.
It's quiet too, which is crazy, since it's 6 times more powerful than a Steam Deck.
What? What?
Powered by a discrete, semi-custom AMD GPU, enabling 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with
What the fuck?
An AMD GPU, enabling 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with FSR.
Oh my god!
Machine runs SteamOS, made for a bigger screen. Built for gaming in your living room, your office, or wherever you play, with the rest of your PC accessories. Steam Machine borrows some great features from Steam Deck, like lightning fast sleep and wake, an SD card slot to easily expand your storage,
Yeah.
and brings some new tricks of its own, like a customizable LED strip, which can show different system functionalities, or your own light show.
That's
Steam
cool.
Machine is a PC, so run whatever software you
So it's actually just literally, okay, it's just a PC. So they just, literally, they turned the GameCube into a computer. Look at it. There it is.
you want. And
It's a
it works
PC.
with all your favorite desktop and gaming accessories.
I want to see what this says.
Steam Machine is
The
designed to
thing's on
work hand in hand with the Steam controller,
Uh-huh.
with the low latency, wireless connectivity of the Steam controller puck built right in. And it's great for streaming your games
Uh-huh.
to your phone, tablet, laptop,
Oh.
Steam Deck, or Steam Frame.
Damn.
Oh,
So it can run the game and then you can play it remotely? Holy fuck, man. I feel like this is that's actually kind of crazy. I mean, like, wow.
Yep. This is Steam Frame.
Oh, what's that? What is it? Ooh. What is this? The goggles? Oh,
Steam
shit.
Frame is Valve's next generation VR hardware. Stream all your Steam games.
Wake me up when we have Sword Art Online.
VR and non-VR alike in this comfortable,
It's not my
lightweight,
thing.
wireless VR headset. Steam Frame uses camera-based
it's not my
tracking, so getting into your games is as easy as slipping on the headset and waking it up. Steam Frame controllers, included with the headset, are designed with all the inputs you need for your VR
Dreamcast.
games, like motion controls and capacitive
Dreamcast
tracking
had
for all your
Windows
fingers,
CE.
as well as a
Oh, yeah.
split gamepad layout to work with your whole Steam library. They even feature the same magnetic thumbsticks as
I'm
Steam
excited.
controller for responsiveness
That's nice.
and longevity. Steam Frame also pairs seamlessly with the new Steam controller.
I wonder how
Great companion
expensive
for
it's
playing
gonna be
non-VR
though.
games in the headset.
Oh, what the fuck? So you can just sit there and play it. Damn, so I guess if you walk out from the, you walk out on the porch, Nancy's just sitting here looking at fucking nothing. And she's like, and you're like, damn, bitch. I thought you were gonna cook dinner.
To make sure streaming is smooth and stable no matter what, Steam Frame includes a wireless adapter that lets you stream your games
Yeah,
from
yeah.
your PC to your headset over a fast and dedicated Wi-Fi
That's
system.
badass.
And the game is streamed to your frame, optimized for VR.
Bro, like, I'm like kind of glad my mom is in here to see this because she'd be like, "Oh, so you're gonna be getting Wi-Fi directly into your head?" Yep, I knew it. That's how they get you.
Using new technology that allows for the
Yeah,
highest
Dreamcast
resolution
is
really
streaming
good.
exactly where your eyes are looking. And Steam Frame is a PC running Steam OS. In addition to streaming, you can
I never owned a Dreamcast, but my neighbor had a Dreamcast. And we used to play Soul Calibur on there. That shit was fun.
install and play a bunch of VR and non-VR games right in the headset without a host PC.
Yeah.
You can also expand your onboard storage to fit even more games with a micro SD card.
Well, how much? I guess I'll look at
Steam
the
controller, Steam Machine, and Steam
How
Refresh.
much? How much?
All built with the same DNA as Steam Deck.
How much?
All powered by Steam,
How
work
much?
together, and can be used however you'd
How
like,
much?
with whatever peripherals and accessories
How much
you
money?
choose. Everything you see here is the culmination of what we've learned from our previous hardware
$10,000.
experience and what we wanted ourselves to
That's
be.
it.
$10 billion.
Powerful PC gaming in an open ecosystem, giving you
Exactly, bro. Well, listen to that again.
as gamers. Powerful PC gaming in an open ecosystem.
There it is. There it is. That's all we want. That's it. That's all I want. Thank God. Who would have known the business strategy of doing things that the customers want you to do actually works pretty well?
Giving you more ways to enjoy the games
Yeah.
you love and discover new ones.
What?
Steam Controller, Steam Machine,
What? You can
and
do
Steam
that?
Frame are all shipping
What?
in May of 2026.
Oh, wow.
Learn more at steampowered.com/hardware.
All right. Well, we're gonna buy one of these. I guess so. What I'll do is I'll have to get my switcher set up, and then I can put it onto this, and then I can stream off of it. This should be super easy for me to do. I'll pre-order one myself. I'll pre-order one of each. Yeah, I'll even get the VR goggles, but I'm probably not going to use those. How much? I don't know. Who cares? I'm just going to write off my taxes. Oh, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday. They said I owe them $2,000. Sorry. I owe them $20,000. Yeah. Apparently, you know, I didn't give him enough. Yeah, how about that, huh? The fuck? That's it, Mr. Zero? I don't know how it happened.
$20,000.
That looks really fucking nice. This right here, this box, this to me is beautiful. I am the kind of person, like, I know obviously, you know, I started a company of like, you know, custom build PCs and it
I like Metal Gear.
got all the lights on them and everything. I know that other people like that shit, okay? But if you go over and you look at all the PCs that I built myself, big black box. That's it. That's all I want. I just want a big black box. And there's something to me that, and like maybe there's like an element of like brutalism to it, where it's just like this imposing, massive square. And it just sits there. And it can run any game at 165 frames per second. It's a monolith. Ooh, I love that. Monolith. Wow. Big word. Call it the big black box? Exactly. Yeah, Space Odyssey type shit. Haven't been this excited since PS1. I am reserving a degree of judgment until we actually see what the specs on this are and everything. I do want to say though, this is awesome. This is super cool. I'm really excited to see this, okay? And hopefully we're going to get and see more information about this. Finally, the Gavin Cube. Died 2017, born 2025. Welcome back, Steam Machine. Announcing a VR headset, a console, and a controller on a random Wednesday is such a Valve thing to do. Well, the thing is that, and let me explain the reason why. The reason why is because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can release it, you know, before or after or anything like that. It doesn't make a difference in any case. The specs are on the website. Why the Crusades were awesome. I'll have to watch that. And yeah, do you think it'd be worth it for people to, what's this here? People with average PCs to just sell it and get that box instead? Well, it really depends, right? So from my perspective, I think that if you are strapped for cash, the best option for you as like an individual is to build your own PC. Like, and this comes from somebody, again, who started a PC building company. If you want the best value for your dollar, you should build your own PC. And I'm going to explain why. It's because whenever this product comes out, the technology now starts a timer. And the odds are a lot of these, you know, obviously like bespoke products like this, they're not going to have customization and like, you're not going to be able to open them up and put a new graphics card in this, for example, right? And because of that, that's whenever you really start thinking, and oh, let's start looking at the information here too. But like basically, that way you can upgrade your PC again after that. And so my advice to any guy is that, you know, like most of you guys start off with like a family computer. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the way I started out as a PC guy, and this is the way I think a lot of you guys started out, right? Is that we started out with a PC that was a pre-built from someplace, right? It was a pre-built from, I don't know, Sam's Club or Best Buy or something like that. And it was a family computer. And as time went on, you wanted to play video games that became increasingly more extreme, or not extreme, I think it's a better bad word, more demanding. And so you went to Best Buy, or actually, you know, since we're talking about back in the day, you went to Circuit City and you bought a Radeon 4650. This is my first one. This is my first graphics card right here. I think it's actually this one, yeah. There it is. And I bought this one. This is my first one. And so anyway, I bought this graphics card, and it was a very, very long time ago, extremely long time ago. And I had it, yeah, frame it. I don't know where it is. I have to go find it. And you upgraded your PC for the first time. And then you maybe tried to do another upgrade, but then you realize like, oh shit, I can't do more RAM because more RAM, the you know, the RAM port on my motherboard ends up only taking, you know, this amount of RAM, and it can't take a 16 gigabyte or an 8 gigabyte stick of RAM. And so now I have to get a new motherboard. But if I get a new motherboard, now I also have to get a new power supply. And so before you know it, you realize, okay, so you basically learn how to build a PC by trial and error. Focus on the error. And so anyway, that's the way I think a lot of you guys have gotten into it, right? And then you started building your own PCs. And I bet some of you guys now are now old enough that you have a good career and you're able to just simply buy a pre-built PC that's just a gaming PC. You don't have to worry about it. How many of you guys do that now? You just buy one and you don't even think about it. You maybe upgrade the graphics card once and that's it. So that's the, that's basically, I think this is the computer, like the computer gaming aficionado, you know, in general. You start with pre-built and then you build it yourself. And then you usually go back to pre-built, right? And it's not because you want to, it's because obviously you just have other time. You have a lot of time. You have time. And so no, I think so. I think this is what happens with a lot of people. No? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, I think it is. I think a lot of people, and for some people it's no, but here's the reason why it's different. It's because a lot of people, whenever they get older, like let's say you're 35, you're 40 or something like that, your most valuable resource stops becoming money, assuming that you have a decent career. You stop worrying about, you know, oh, well, this is like, oh, I have to do this or whatever, because you're making a lot of money. You've got a decent career. Yeah, your valuable resource now is time. And the time that it would take you to build a PC, unless it's something that you're very invested in and you personally enjoy doing, maybe it's not worth it for you to do it. So that's why people go and they buy pre-builts, right? That's why obviously there's so many pre-built companies and there's a lot of people that do it. It's not necessarily for young people, it's for old people that just don't want to deal with it and they have some idea, but they don't really want to deal with making PCs all the time, right? That's why there's such a big market for it. It just makes sense. Because for everybody who's broke, there's also somebody who's not, and they buy a lot of these PCs. It's just how it is. And but my best advice is that if you don't have a lot of money, my best advice is not to buy one of these necessarily. It's not to buy a pre-built. It's to build your own. You will always get the best value for your dollar buying your own, and you can upgrade it later on in the future. And my best advice for people that are buying their own, there are two things not to skimp out on. Don't skimp out on your power supply, and don't skimp out on your motherboard. And I know...
Hold up. This is supposed to be Arctic Vibe. Sparkling Frozen Blueberry Edition. And it's not even blue. It's called blue, but it's not blue. It's called Arctic, but it's not even blue. They just left it like yellow. Arctic Frost. It's gonna take points off the fucking review.
Those are ones if I can get this one for $20, it's way less. Oh, but there's a motherboard for like $35, I should buy this. Those motherboards, not only are they, usually like third-party wholesaler motherboards, but on top of that, having a power supply that has a much higher wattage allows you to future-proof your machine for whenever you want to upgrade it in the future for future technology that will be coming out in the future, right? That's it. And so that's my best advice. Like you basically spend an extra like maybe $80, $100 somewhere around there, maybe even less, honestly, in some cases.
Yeah, I used to like doing LAN parties back in the day, and yeah, multiplayers kind of killed multiplayer in a lot of ways.
To get something that's a much higher quality, and you're going to guarantee the longevity of your PC much more than anything else. It's better, terrible advice? I don't think so. I really don't think so.
This has like a mint taste in it. It tastes like gum. I gotta pause that video. Man, what is going on with this shit? First of all, they call it Arctic Vibe. Wow, this is surprisingly bad. This does not taste blue at all. It almost feels like they put the wrong liquid in this can, because it's not blue. It doesn't taste like frozen berry. If they think the taste of mint means frozen, or whatever the fuck I'm tasting, this one's missing. I can't taste the berry at all. That's not berry. That's not berry. What is in this? Ingredients. Bullshit. Ziggy. You like this one? I don't know about this one. Hold up, let me finish it up. Let me finish it off. I can't taste the berry. I can't taste the berry at all. And I don't like that it's called frozen blue and it's not even blue. I don't know about this one. Let me try a little more. I sure sucked it down for something that I don't really vibe with that much. Yeah, I don't know about the taste. It didn't taste that great to me. All right, you can get my box now if you want. I don't know. Again, I think this Celsius is getting a C. I got the grape one too. I'm gonna try the grape one next. Next time I drink one. But yeah, this one's getting a C on the flavor. A rating. I guess you can kind of taste the berry a little bit in the aftertaste. But yeah, I don't know. It's not my favorite, so I'll just leave it that. C. Celsius. Exactly. C. Celsius. Guess I like the snowball one and the apple pear one. Hey, you can get my box now. I'm done doing the review. Yeah, I'm gonna try out as many flavors as possible. But I think, yeah, I do like that they're pretty healthy. I like that they're got like vitamins and stuff in there, and they're like gluten free and shit like that. Excuse me. C. Celsius.
Major announcement, Walter!
What is this? Delusional DEI code.
I have with me Dr.
Oh shit, I gotta see this shit.
Sure.
The CEO's so healthy.
Business course they love.
My friend drinks the mango sausages like every day.
T-shirts and postcards and songs and custom merch.
The mango.
I have with
I haven't tried the mango flavor yet. I'll have to try that one when I see it. I've only tried a couple of different flavors so far.
Saying this idea of a exclusion, sort of acts of exclusion. So you were walking down the road one day and you thought, wow, I feel excluded. Let me write about it. I don't like this microaggression stuff. What is exclusion and what is microaggression?
So the
Always asking the good
microaggression
questions.
is any act or word or deed, behavior that
There's a lot to choose from. I got a lot of good stuff earlier. Got some fruit, some actually I got Safeway earlier and I got Chipotle earlier. I already ate my Chipotle and now I'm chilling.
makes someone feel like they are otherized, like they are being pushed to the outside, like they don't belong, like they're a curiosity. And the purpose of the book, in part, was to rebrand the term microaggression to subtle act of exclusion. Microaggression has the word aggression built into it, and it puts people on the defensive, and there's really nothing micro about it.
Oh, drive
if
out
it's
of town.
you who's on the receiving end of it, it can feel enormous, and it can feel, very, very insulting and belittling.
Yeah.
So the act might be subtle, but it is an act of exclusion that makes people feel like they don't belong.
And whose fault is it if a person's so weak they can be made to feel that way?
It's not always a matter of fault, because it is, I write mostly in the context of the workplace, right? So as an employer, any given employer has a responsibility to ensure the safety, psychological and physical, of the people who work within the workplace. So if every time I show up at a meeting as a female identified person, people talk over me, they disrespect the comments that I make, they assume that I'm gonna take the notes because, I was assigned female at birth, they're constantly marginalizing me and putting me in a place that is less than their own status as men, for instance. So in the context of a workplace, these microaggressions or subtle acts of exclusion can have real world consequences and prevent people from being promoted and from having opportunities to really excel in their careers.
Amazing. And so let's say men and women are in a meeting, and we all know that men
Kiwi's
are
my
stronger
favorite
than
too.
Women are gonna feel
love
insecure
Kiwi.
anyway. How should the man deal with that insecure woman?
I will not agree with you and say that we know that men are stronger than women. My three ex-husbands would be evidence to the contrary. So I can tell you that society at large might share that narrative and promote that narrative. So what happens is you do get that gender minorities, women, non-binary people might inadvertently or intentionally play into a narrative that places us in that position. So that would be my first challenge. But what we do is first of all, we look at bias, not only at the individual level, but we look
They
at
have really good.
at the institutional
I like the
level. So
prices on Celsius. They're cheaper than the other energy drinks. These are when these are on sale, I can get them for two for $4, which is good. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, kiwi's my favorite, but I also like pineapple a lot too. And I like banana. So kiwi, pineapple, and banana are probably my top 3. Damn. Those pineapple ones are kind of a ripoff. And sometimes it's cheaper to just get an actual pineapple. A watermelon. It's pretty good. That's like big though. But what's up, Junior? What the hell and eat it. Yummy.
Want to make sure that our companies don't have systems, structures, and processes in place that support
Now I want to drink the
that
other
kind of gender
Celsius.
bias or any other kind of bias. So we have to check our leaders.
I think I will. I'm gonna drink it. It's called Grape Rush. Yeah, I think I'm gonna drink it. And you know what? I'm gonna throw some kiwi in there too. Do another. You know, mix it. Mix it with some kiwi. A little garnish. All of a sudden I'm craving some Celsius. Why is it called Celsius anyways? We gotta get to the bottom of this mystery. Tell me why is it called Celsius? Tell me why is it called Celsius? Ew. Can you just bite it straight into it? Little kiwi garnish. Whatever that thing's called. I don't think we have that at our store. Oh yeah. We're trying Celsius Grape Rush with a kiwi garnish. If it's called grape, it has to be purple colored, you'd think, right? What if it's not purple? What are we gonna do? It's actually purple! Oh shit. They didn't... Alright. It gets points for actually being kind of purple. Let's try it out. Let's try the kiwi first. Kiwi is on point. The kiwi is going to help get my palate ready for this drink. It's kind of hard to fuck up a grape, you know what I mean? So this one's going to be probably pretty good. Oh yeah, that's a strong grape flavor. It's kind of really strong. It's like cough syrup strong. Like grape cough syrup. It's better, yeah. I think it needs more fizz to it. It needs to be more like grape soda. Because right now it tastes more like grape cough syrup. What's up, Joan? Kiwi and strawberries. Yeah, so that's my first impression. It kind of tastes more like cough syrup than it does grape soda. Yeah, Celsius lean. But I like that it has all these vitamins in there and stuff. 7 essential vitamins. Oh no, I spilled some. Oh, that's that crack. Celsius C for crack. Celsius. Whatever. Yeah, it needs more fizz. Secret crack or Celsius. It's pretty good, even though I mean, it's great. It's just a little too strong of a grape flavor, and it's kind of artificial. I don't know how natural this really tastes. Or maybe it is like really natural. Like maybe this is like pure grape juice. Pretty good, I guess. Really strong flavor. Have you ever tried Coke soda with ice cream on top? So like ice cream float with Coke? I think I have tried that, yeah. So yeah, this one I think is getting a C+. Celsius plus. Not giving it a B. Yeah. True. Plus yeah, these are pretty healthy compared to the other ones or whatever. Like more vitamins and stuff in there. Have you ever tried Ghost Energy before? Hey, what's up? Thank you for like. I've never tried that kind, or maybe I have, but I didn't do a review about it. There's so many different energy drinks out there now. Yeah. I do feel pretty energetic after drinking this. Pardon. Yeah, so that was pretty good. Not my favorite flavor, so I think I'm still on the hunt for my favorite Celsius flavor. But I'll give this one a C+. I was really hoping that that blue one was going to be my favorite, but it didn't taste what I wanted it to taste like. It let me down. Girl, don't let me down now. Girl, don't let me down now. I really want to try the kiwi flavor of Celsius to see if they, I think there's kiwi strawberry. Yeah. So I'll have to see if they did justice to the kiwi in that flavor. But there's never any full kiwi. No one ever goes full kiwi in the drink, and that's what I need. And I still want to try banana water, but banana water is expensive. Eating fruit ninja kills? Ninga? It kills? I don't know. I like Fruit Ninja on the app or whatever. Taste tester, hope you're... Hell yeah. I'm good. Hope you are too, Onion.
Get in the ring with me. Get in the ring. Get in the ring with me. Get in the ring with me. Pussy boy. Get in the ring with me. Get in the ring. Get in the ring with me. Get in the ring with me. Pussy boy. Get in the ring with me. I told you. I will pay you $500 if you get in the ring. It's that simple. Go get a ring. I'll get in there. I'll head gear. UFC gloves. We'll see how tough you are. We'll see how tough you are. We'll see how tough. We'll see how tough. We'll see how tough you are. See how you play with that. See how you play with that. See how you play. See how you play. We'll see how tough you are. I'll even come to that shithole Alabama. Alright, pussy boy, they go pussy boy. I'll even come to that shithole Alabama. Alright, pussy boy, they go pussy that right. Yeah, bitch, pussy ball. Pussy ball, pussy ball, pussy that right.
You like my thumbnail? It's like a fall thumbnail. It's like leaves and stuff like that. Monetize? Not till December 4th. But yeah, I've been trying to come up with design some new interesting thumbnails.
He got a slight little problem, and let me show you. He got a slight little problem, small little problem, not big deal. Let me show you. What's the boy lost mailbox? What's the boy lost mailbox? Here's the strap on. I'm gonna run it for the safety. What's the boy lost mailbox? That's right. Yeah, big pussy ball. Pussy ball. That's right. Yeah, big pussy ball.
Kingpin. You mean I should make one where I'm like a king? The king of the Pacific Northwest?
Why were you just go get your mailbox fixed so you can get mail? Well, I bet you get mail there anyway. But that's about it. There's one more I'm going to show you of the neighborhood. It's not really that complimentary.
So, you know, the name, tell me, show me anything planned for this week. Well, I don't know. On Friday, I might go out to the ice facility. But I feel like weird going on weekdays. I feel like the crowd that's out there like Monday through Thursday is like some of the weirder ones, and then I don't know, I feel like the real protest is always on Friday and Saturday or whatever. I like the Pokemon thumbs you make. Yeah, I need to make more Pokemon ones. Tommy was wilding at Oregon State. Yeah, I need to watch his video when he went to Oregon State. I saw that he went there. I didn't watch that one yet.
If your phone has the answers, shouldn't it just, answer?
Although it's always late.
Maybe I should make some.
Ready to freak out again? With Freakier Friday, now streaming on Disney Plus.
Yes. Make some thumbnails.
Yes. Watch the Freakler at home with your mom.
Make the choices.
You are so lame. With your daughter.
Give me your phones. Sure. Psych.
No, he went there today. They're there for a few days, I think, because they have a
Disney's Freakier Friday, now streaming on Disney Plus.
A lot of them are there. I think it wasn't planned because I didn't know about it.
And magical misfits! Give it up for the broom shaking, spell-breaking sound of the Beetlewards!
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I gotta watch Tommy's stream. maybe tonight.
On rhythm guitar and ridiculous charm, it's John Putnam. On bass and binding spells, Paul McDuffie. Keeping time with a phoenix feather one, the drum wizard Rongo Weastar. And on lead guitar with Lich dark as the dungeons, the quiet spellmaster himself, Snarison. 1, 2, 3, 4. Born in the cupboard, under the stand. Nobody saw him, nobody cared. Till the owls all flew and let him
Bless their souls. Someone threw a tomato. A tomato? Really? Wow. That's wild. Where the fuck did they get a tomato at that time of day? I was with them. Well, I mean, a tomato isn't even that bad as long as they're. I mean, if they throw like shit or piss or something, then that's crossing. You know, that's a big problem with me.
Magic sings where the dreamers are. Shali Shala, single say, wobbly dobbly, fly away. Up a broomstick, high in the sky, spiders and
Yeah, fuck Berkeley. Berkeley's insane. Yeah. California is just.
Magic sings where the dreamers are. Shala, single say, wobbly dobbly, fly away. When the shadows whisper, snakes will creep, and the night remembers what secrets keep. Through the fear and fire, he won't give in. Let the light begin. Back in the tower, candles still glow. Dreams in the window, stories they know. He's just a boy, but he made it through. And the song feels true. Acronym, hurrah, magic sings where the dreamers are. Shali Shala, single say, wobbly dobbly, fly away.
That's so creepy.
He's alive, the story grows. Every friend in the whole world knows. Shali Shala, single say, wobbly dobbly, fly away. Shali Shala, Wingardium sway, wobbly dobbly, soar away. Shali Shala.
Bro, the filters on TikTok are insane. There's like an evil twin filter. It's crazy though. I gamed for like 24 hours. See that on a Trump 2028 hat today. Opposite 2 decades ago, I was like, what? Yeah, Berkeley's that college, man. Every time someone tries to go to that college, there's always like a big riot that's out of control because the police never do anything about it. California police.
I am the big best rap. I am the big best. I am the big best. I'm not playing the big best. I am the big best rap. I am the big best. I am the big best. DJ Babble sends an email to play on my behalf. Trying to be stupid to believe that I would strike strikes. That's right. You did the strike and then you removed it.
Kami Mandani.
And you removed it.
I used to shop at. You haven't heard of it? Pretty good. That's good company. Something like that.
Yes, it struck you. I'm not paying the victim. I am the victim. That's right. I am the victim. I am the victim. I'm not paying the victim. I am the victim. That's right. I am the victim. I am the victim. So, you know, I'm not trying to. Yeah, I wouldn't strike somebody unless it was good reason. I don't look to strike people. I probably could, but I'm not going to. They're pirates, I tell you. I'm striking.
Well, there'll probably be some good deals for Black Friday on the shop app. That's what I'm waiting for is Black Friday, and then or Cyber Monday, and then I'm gonna buy something.
No one said that he. Oh my God, I'm so in love. I found you finally. You make me wanna say
Klarna.
Oh my gosh.
What the heck is Klarna?
Throwing stones in the ocean. I've been passing time. Keeping all these lines, I see the signs. Sit back. With ocean, relax, unwind. River drops in the ocean of the mind. The sun and the moon pull the tide. Ripples become waves over time. 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 Over time, that's it again unwind. Ripples become waves over time. Sun and moon pull the tides over time. Turn your thoughts into action. Law of attraction. What you do today will cause a reaction. You're the only one who controls your satisfaction. What you can imagine, you can make it happen. The sun and the moon pull the tide.
Oh yeah. Jihad. Wait, how the fuck do you Jihad defriz defrapales California Public Health Employee. Yeah, that's weird. California's got a lot of sleeper cells there.
Ripples become waves over time. 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 Over time, that's it again unwind. Ripples become waves.
Yeah, and that shit happens in California because they let people get away with it, and you know what I mean. Same shit with Portland. But no. Yeah, pretty much too much city lights. Yeah, sucks. I want to get out of the city. Can't see the northern lights. Barely can see the stars. I'm just thankful I'm alive, man. That coronal mass ejection, you know, it could have been bigger, but that shit was aimed right at us. The sun could shoot something bigger at us and just wipe us out. We're so small compared to the sun. Sharila. Nice. Yeah, if I wish I was in a full spectrum bulb. Oh yeah, you were saying that. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. Yeah. There's places in Oregon where you can go to see it, but I'd have to leave, go into the country to see it. And yeah.
Posts. Please do not think that you have to donate. Do not think that that's the direction right now. I honestly will again repeat that please consider making a donation to the Toy and Joy Makers for Christmas this year. It is on my feed. There is a link, and again there is a QR code for you to scan so that you can easily get to their website. Again, they are a charity based in Portland, Oregon. Welcome, greetings to Canada. Greetings to Canada. But yeah,
Too much light.
we divide and conquer. We divide and conquer. And Jones and yeah,
It's like there's a couple of people out there tonight.
are you jonesing from not being able to harass Tommy tonight? Do you have again just a I don't know, biting your tongue, wishing that you could be in his face? Yeah, it's like shush. If I whisper, then is that better? Is that what you're again, you're trying to make me not use my voice, and you can't shut up my First Amendment right to talk. You can't shut up my First Amendment right to speak. Whatever, just like again, he's just as much, he's more fascinated with his balloon than truth.
Town is red. Man, it's crazy how blue Portland
You
is.
should know, shouldn't you?
The people in our government are like literally like mentally ill. Like the homeless people and the whatever else people have somehow made it into government, and they're all weird as hell. It's like being governed by fucking... Let me think of a weird person. Who is it like being governed by? I feel like our governor is like RuPaul. Feels like, yeah. Feels like RuPaul is just in charge of where I live. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, now we have a duel. Yeah, we've got two. They've got a duel. They've got a duel. Yeah, and essentially, again, this is now a grown-ass woman, again, with the little kid, the one that needs to grow up, and now we've got, yeah, I'm 6'2". I'm 6'2". So I know that, again, yeah, I know that maybe I'm not the tallest to overtake their umbrellas, but their umbrellas in the hand, from the handle to their, yeah. Size 2, or 6.2, 6'2", size 13 shoe. So yeah. We'll go back into, I've gotten in my fights. I've gotten in the ability that I had to defend myself. After my camera was cut on September 6th, and again, it was a refurbished camera, so it was money well spent. It is money well spent, and I'm just glad that I have the video from me being attacked. Again, pepper sprayed, and then essentially, again, 3 people follow. There was one more underneath the point of view of where the video was taken that kept me safe. Stolen clam, still a man. Yep, stolen clam, still a man. Oh, it's Pam. Hey, Pam, thank you for blocking me today. Thank you for blocking me, Pam. Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
It's again achievement unlocked, guys. We got blocked by Pam. Achievement unlocked. Hey, Pam, 6,000 viewers. Oh my God. Oh my God. 6,000. Thank you. Pam the scam. Yep. Pam the scam. Thank you, Pam. Yeah. The same manner that I knew, again, the calls for possible false flags. The calls that were happening on freaking VR chat for false flags. Anybody get the context there? Anybody know what takes place in VR chat? Again, that I have been witness to a lot of that I have been around situations that have taken place in VR chat, and there have been calls from Antifa to make false flag runs. I have the accounts. I have the Steam accounts of some of these people. And at that point, you have a Steam ID. You don't just have a name, you have a Steam ID. Yeah, Timu Ned Flanders, I agree. Again, I already said earlier that Pam is just like Selma from The Simpsons,
Marines.
and that essentially makes freaking Dustin Ragsdale freaking Sideshow
What's it
Bob.
called? I don't have Netflix, but I could watch it somewhere else. Talk to you later. Have a good night.
Ken, go pet Jub Jub. Go pet Jub Jub.
Jub Jub.
So now, oh, was that a threat? You said you're gonna get shot. Okay, okay. No, I didn't. Again, that was again. Again, your gentleman with the cane stepped on the line too. So, again, your comrade is what you guys call each other. Yeah, your comrade. So again, well, I'm just logic. I'm like Data and I'm like Spock. I'm like Data and I'm like Spock. So, well, so be it. You can think what you want. Yeah, that's military kid with the other. Okay, okay. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Again, they are commies. 6.3 at this point. Thank you guys. Yes, they 100%. Again, just as much. And we heard the leftist separation that they apparently make claim to, and in any way that they don't, supposedly they're not liberals, they don't like liberals. And I'm kind of like, again, does this not justify the level of their Antifa, their terrorist organization? Pam gave them orders, and I do want to agree. I do want to agree that if I was still here alone, that Pam would be able to come out and make calls and put targets. Pam would be able. God bless you, Ice. Thank you, thank you. They are anarchists. Yes, yes. So we've already heard them make quotes from the Anarchist Cookbook, from the Urban Dictionary, but yet they don't seem to understand the actual Webster's Merriam Collegiate Dictionary. They can't, for some reason, understand their own definition. They cannot understand their own definition. So, okay, again, yeah, probably snorting hormones. Probably snorts hormones. Just as much like we saw someone, we saw freaking Spider Mike go ahead and brush his teeth with a pepper ball. We saw one of them pop a pepper ball and then snort it. These people are like immune to this shit by now. And a lot of them are resistant. They've been so up in it, whether they have their gas masks or not. Of course, we haven't seen the gas grenades go out to my knowledge for a couple of days. Again, I got to correct myself and say, maybe again last night, because I didn't stay past when the arrest took place last night. But again, the gas grenades have not been going out. There was white grenades. There was, again, orange grenades. There was green grenades going off. And those are not being used anymore. For one, I want to agree because of the apartment building and the suffering that they've been going through. Again, this is the situation. This is the situation that they, again, yeah, just as much trying to test arm spam for a moment. But I know, again, I've got a cord long enough to keep us charged. The phone still says 100%. His parents. Yep, he told Stacy his parents were to. Oh, okay. Again, yes, I agree. Tommy is not going to be down here tonight. Tommy was doing his own thing. Again, he went to U of O where the Ducks played, or not played, where the Ducks are the sports team. And again, I would point back out how that is, I believe, in the respect and the love of Charlie Kirk. Again, Charlie loved the Ducks. And I'm sitting here looking at like, okay, yeah, dude in the street. And again, we got the liars and the green helmet are out. The liars are out and about. Black and yellow. And let's see here. No. And again, I know that there's a song behind. Oh, okay. Well, yes, Proud Boy Colors. Okay, Proud Boy Colors. That's the connection. Again, I know there's a song that I'm able to quote, a rap song. Yes. I can't quote the freaking artist, and I'm like that. I can quote the freaking lyrics. Again, I know the chorus. It's your black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yes. The umbrella. Okay, now I understand. I'm just as much like, yeah, trying to give the engagement in that same manner that we've still got the umbrella right back in our face. Again, it went away for a bit, but obviously, again, this child has nothing better to do with themselves. This is where I say that these people are so misguided. They need role models. Their parents, again, didn't love them. They didn't give them Christmas presents. They didn't, again, support them in truth. War, black and yellow, okay? I got you there. Dare to be stupid, dare to be stupid. I love Weird Al, so I don't know what I'll say. I love Weird Al. I grew up on. So be it. I can agree. I'll go into again. These guys can dare to be stupid, and then I got you. I agree. I've heard people who are doing the same thing. At that point, again, as I was going to Simpsons characters for freaking yes, I was just like, again, when I look at this is what I started seeing. Just like, okay, I saw Pam. Yeah, I saw Pam too, and I saw the Frank's Red Hot lady. I put that shit on everything. Again, I put that shit on everything. Frank's Red Hot. And she can't freaking cover both, otherwise they have to, again, make sure they have to unite. Yeah, divide and conquer. When they get some of their own freaking shit, yeah, we can just do this. Again, this is why I'm just as much. So see that Violet, and I don't think so. And I know Velly Ray knows how to identify Violet. I know Velly Ray knows how to identify Violet. Yes.
Sometimes they don't know who I am and they're like, oh, it's them again.
So be it. Again, they can't say my name. They still call me Vincent from the night that I was, again, the first night I was out here. Again, Rosa started talking to me, and I, again, was like, yeah, you can call me Vincent from Final Fantasy VII, a vampire of the night. So, but I'll go back to, yeah, my chat knows who I am at this point. My chat knows who I am, and you guys know how to find the links on my feed. Again, my calling cards for all my accounts are on t1mk3r.com. Do we do the Mari? Gosh, what am I thinking? I'm thinking of it being Jim Carrey and freaking The Mask, or I don't know. Me, myself, and Irene. Yeah. I don't want to touch that. Yeah, I enjoyed watching that burn. I loved watching that pride flag burn. God, that was good. That was a good night. I don't think you've knocked anybody out down here, Richard. I don't think you've knocked anybody out down here. I don't need to, because I respect old men. I respect old men. I don't put dunce caps on old men. I don't put the dunce cap. I know, yeah. I thought you were protesting ICE. Now you want to protest MAGA, because thank you for your attention, and thank you. We're 100 more, so almost 7K. Almost 7K. Let's go. Yes, we'll Trump dance. Yes. You're so close. Thank you for the hearts. 6.9. Again, the engagement, the likes, the retweets. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. And there's I don't recognize, again, I'm pretty sure he's been out here before. I just don't recognize him when I've been out here. Yeah. Oh, again. So the one thing, this is the one thing I am going to do. Of course I
Any thoughts on Venezuela?
No, again, of course I back. That was stupid. Again,
it sounds like, they need to get their shit together, because, the cartels are running South America. And I know that the president, I'm actually not too sure, I don't know too much about Venezuela or like exactly what's going on there currently. I know that they want like Maduro out, or whoever, they're trying to do like regime change. And it sounds like, if they do regime change, I don't know, South America's pretty fucked. Mexico's pretty fucked. The president of Mexico is like still working with the cartels, and that's pretty crazy. Oil, yeah, oil's big in Venezuela, and yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit going on.
I can't. Yeah. The one thing is they definitely don't want this in my hand if they start shooting.
The female one a few years ago. Yeah, the Steinbun.
Yeah, no, we'll just leave it. It's not easy for me to do that one-handed, and I don't want to risk dropping it because it's a glass water bottle. But essentially, again, I'm going to say I want to, but the manner is if I'm touched by it, I will deal with it. If I am in any way, if it is something that again is coming at me, I've asked to be back off. Again, this is the manner that 7K. Thank you guys. 7K. Thank you guys so much. Again, the engagement is what I'm looking for, and I'm thankful again to have the views. Again, whatever. I'm assuming that's your legalese. Again, you're part of the Liars Guild, aren't you? Oh, no. Ramming dumpsters into the building is not legal. Yes, they did. No, I'm not saying they did, but that's what you protesters are taking part in. That's why we are out here. That's why we are out here. And we're not lying when you guys were breaking down street signs and using them against the door. Again, that's what you guys are supporting. You guys are so mad that someone else comes out with a camera and again tells the narrative of truth, because you guys have to hide it. You guys have to hide the truth to be able to tell your lies. And yes, we're docking. I will say that in my feed, I linked that video. It is from June. It is old. It has been a while, but that's what they were doing. And again, it was an independent journalist who captured that footage. Pam is giving cigarettes to Richard. I wouldn't be surprised.
You guys fucking lost.
And I believe again that Richard was sitting in a little train station over here smoking a joint with a dude the other day.
Megan's lost. They tried to. I can't see your face,
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah.
You put a sign in front of there. Yeah, but you're putting a sign in front of your own face.
What is this?
I can't see your face.
Oh, yeah.
You're an idiot. No, with the sign, when the sign's not there, I can't see your face.
Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Yep. Ha ha ha. Same manners. I need a breather for a moment, so I am going to back out. It's to the same point. The numbers keep coming forward. I want my water bottle for a second. I want my water bottle again to just go. Let's see. Thank you for the hold for a second. It's just as much. We've been yik-yakking and all that shit, so I'm just like,
Jibber.
I meant for it to be that hard to pull out, so that way it's not going to fall out if I have to run.
What is this video?
I have that clip that day, and again, the 3 seconds with the same manner as I tried to put up there. I needed to switch the camera to a picture mode, but I had it as a video, and because of just as much it pixelated kind of bad. But I'll go back and try to pick and see if I can do something that can clean up a little bit, and I would just as much be able to pass that forward or try to again get you that same shout out. Thank you, man.
No fun.
Okay, again, we're already 7-1. We're going up.
You're home now? Nice. My turn. The turn. Everyone's hibernating. What time is it there? Like 11? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I agreed. Trump again, and it was said by Caroline Levitt that is going to happen. We're going to have a Merry Christmas. We are going to have a Merry fucking Christmas. Again, I won't tell people what I plan to do.
Pretty cold, not terribly, I mean, didn't snow or anything. People outside? There's homeless people outside. Weird. I need to get a new computer. Mine's super slow. Bro, what the fuck? Load the fucking video. Jesus Christ. I don't even have anything open.
This is basic shit. I mean, I could go to every country on the planet. If I went to Dubai over in fucking Africa, they'd be like, if they didn't want me there, they'd be like, look, you gotta go. That's it. And I'd have to be like, alright, they'd be like, we got a flight, get the fuck out. And I'd be like,
you've got this much time, and again, these people think that again, when
like, you wanna
someone's
stay here,
told,
you just die.
when someone's told, hey, you shouldn't be staying here, then it's like a second, or like what? A second, it's not just an hour, it's not days. I'm pretty sure it's almost months or year, or again, to say years to a point after Biden, that again, when someone's told that you are past your point of amnesty or your asylum is worn out, you're gone. That's what they were crying about Maryland.
Because every immigrant that I know, and that's pretty much a lot of people that I know, and everyone else, is that they all say the same exact thing. They go, no, illegal immigration should not be allowed. Especially because when you have to go through a process like that, they ask you very personal questions, they really dive into it.
True.
And this is something that you have to go through and you earn it. If you don't earn it and you just come in, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, this is something that people, honestly, I was very proud. I was in a room in Phoenix, Arizona, where there's about 75 people in there, and I'm talking about everyone was crying and shit.
You know you're making a moment in your life that you're going to remember.
It was changed, right, and there was something changing, and you know, yeah, I got a little emotional or whatever, I get it, because for them, this is a huge monumental thing, right? And what they want to do is just pretend that it's nothing. There's no borders. None of this exists. You're not American. You're not a legal resident. You're not anything. You're just a human, bro.
And go back to again the one main thing that we try to believe that is universal is the Geneva Convention. But in any way, I guess it's going to be just as much. People who come in here legally. I'm going into what I understand that again, Pam got to go to DC on the manner of some sort of German connection, and I'm going to try to explain that I had again a World of Warcraft person that I played with. He married a German girl. He brought her in from Mexico during COVID, and again impregnated her, and then she's a citizen. I would believe that she followed giving that oath and giving that pledge of allegiance. She earned it. The problem comes to my question again is what's the influence that she brought in, but so be it. It's somebody who just as much, I kind of have my own little, I have my own little battles too from the side, as I was saying. I got myself in a little fist fight. Yeah, exactly.
It's healing. It's end-stage healing.
Yes, sir.
I've had multiple.
There's a little bit of a bump that kind of probably not noticeable as much. But again, the guy ate the cement. His hair to was sore as hell. And he gave me my lump. But again, the other guys in
Wait, is that it then?
Wolfgang scenes.
So, yeah.
Detained by the police.
Yeah. Again, 7-4. So let's see here. And I'm again going to take a moment of the divide and conquer. Yeah, we'll divide and conquer, up and a down and up and a down. Again, now we've got this where it's spinning. We've got this spinning. So, to try again, let's see. Again, break your echo chambers. Earnestly seek the truth, you will find, and he shall make you free. Again, God is good, God is great. The Bible tells us how to treat each other. It tells us that we are loved and that we can be forgiven. I don't forgive freaking child fucks. I don't forgive people who, again, take a life. But I go back into it's the manner that, again, you ask for his forgiveness. You, again, just as much need people. I guess I'm using the direction again. When Charlie Kirk's life was taken, the shooter ended his own life. And I'm wanting to not name names in the manner that we need a impartial jury. We need a fair trial because that's the law. But again, I just as much want to believe that he needs to be treated the way that he took Charlie. And I am kind of glad that Utah has a firing squad as an option. But we will see. 7.5, 7.5. Again, I am glad that I'm restating that I'm glad there's a possibility of a firing squad being the outcome. Let that man suffer the fate that Charlie took, taking a bullet, taking lead. I almost would be in the same manner of use a 22 and let him freaking bleed out. Again, plant it, and that seed will grow into
crazy ICE protesters.
The liars and patriots conversation, and I apologize that I'm away. I am away a little bit, but yeah, we'll come back in here. The problem goes back to the umbrellas, guys.
Holy crap.
The umbrellas come out. Yeah, and the balloons.
I'd say the umbrella's that. Hey, if I was going to pick a thing, I'd go with the umbrella.
Go with the umbrella. I've never known of an umbrella fetish. I've never known of an umbrella fetish. That scares me.
To be honest with you, the umbrella's better than the balloon. Come on, you got to admit. Yeah, maybe you have no options.
I was already saying that I watched them blow it up, so I know it's not got galaxy gas.
Oh, it's air.
It's just air. It's just air. But yeah, it's his hot air. It's
Alright,
his,
I'm just saying, it'd be better to go with the umbrella. It's fucking useless.
He was like this white and still a cocaine. Sorry,
Yeah, you gotta go with the umbrella next time. Go with the umbrella. It'll be better for you. It's nice. It's like orange.
Yeah. Oh, but again,
it's the whole thing of like not being honest and standing in front of someone and talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right now I got some trash I could take out.
Enduring principles of reason, virtue, and faith. Values that resonate deeply with Tom Honor.
But the students asked me to address it, and I live to please. So this will be my opportunity to address the right-wing civil war. And because I'm so late to my own speech, I can even enact part of it by speaking as quickly as Ben Shapiro. I'll try to speed it all up. This is a strange moment for a civil war, is it not? It's a strange moment, or I suppose it's not a strange moment, a real civil war. The Democrats, the left, has been encouraging violence against us for a long time, but they've increased their encouragement. It is, however, a strange moment for an intra-conservative civil war. Usually these kinds of battles take place when we're outside of politics, when we've lost an election, when we're in the political wilderness, trying to figure out what to do next. But right now, conservatives are in power. And we're not just like a little bit in power, we are totally in power. We have the White House, we have the House of Representatives, we have the Senate, we have the Supreme Court, because we won the White House last time. We're looking pretty good. Now, I suppose a party in power could still have an internal civil war. Two leaders could fight for control. We saw this when Ronald Reagan challenged Jerry Ford for the presidential nomination in 1976. Republicans had controlled the White House for about a decade at that point, but the more conservative Ronald Reagan wanted to take the reins from the more liberal Jerry Ford. Today, however, there's no question over who's in charge of the party. The Republican Party is entirely unified behind Donald Trump. Now, you might say, Trump's last term is coming to an end. Some of us have tried to repeal the 22nd Amendment. It doesn't work out very well, so this is it. He's going to be out of office after 2028. So, there might be a civil war to be fought over President Trump's legacy. Who's his heir? Who gets his political operation? But that's not the case either. The party is more or less entirely unified behind Vice President J.D. Vance for 2028. He is the heir apparent. There is no serious challenge from anywhere. The most likely person to challenge the vice president is the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. And Marco Rubio has already endorsed J.D. Vance. And President Trump has endorsed a Vance-Rubio ticket. At the level of actual electoral politics, the conservative movement is entirely unified behind a leader for today, and tomorrow, and 7 years from now. But then, the present right-wing civil war has little, if anything, to do with actual electoral politics. When conservatives duked it out for the Republican nomination in 1976, the two sides were led by Reagan and Ford. These are two men who were running for president. When conservatives duked it out in 1992, the two sides were led by George Bush on one hand and Pat Buchanan on the other. Again, this is two men who were running for president. As conservatives duke it out today, the various sides are led by podcasters and live streamers and maybe a few tweeters. That's about it. The right-wing civil war in 1976 concerned stagflation, détente with the Soviet Union, crime. The right-wing civil war in 1992 centered around what we would do after the fall of the Soviet Union, global economic empire or culture war. They were led by men who would wield the might of the U.S. government. The most recent flashpoint in the right-wing civil war of 2025, as far as I can tell, concerns the fact that a think tank president said nice things about his podcaster buddy after the podcaster buddy interviewed a provocateur live streamer, and then other podcasters and live streamers didn't like it or did like it. That's the subject. That's what's tearing the right apart, supposedly. Then yesterday, I don't know how closely you follow these kinds of things, you might have noticed that a former think tank president wrote a letter calling for the firing of a current think tank president because the latter think tank president, the current think tank president, podcasted an interview with a well-known university professor as well as with a popular blogger from Silicon Valley. Inasmuch as the controversies and conversations involved ideas rather than merely people, those ideas included the professor's recommendation of Aristotle and the blogger's appreciation in history of monarchy. These are both notions that are perfectly worthwhile intellectual fodder. In the case of the podcaster's interview of the provocateur, the controversial ideas revolved around antipathy toward an ancient nomadic tribe and affection for a Soviet dictator who died in 1953. Putting aside whatever you might think about Aristotle, monarchy, the Jews, or Joseph Stalin, just put that aside for a second. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how radically distant these topics are from practical politics? You get me going on Stalin, we can be here all night, but this is not the stuff that's going to animate 2028. Abstract ideas certainly can relate to practical politics. The Founding Fathers dealt in abstract ideas in the Declaration of Independence. But the theoretical musings on rights and liberty constitute a relatively small part of that document. Those lines about the Creator's endowment of our faculties are followed by a litany of 27 very particular rights that were sent to a particular political figure, King George III, that was declaring the independence of a specific nation, altogether making up a specific declaration of war. The Constitution. The Constitution opens up, mentions the general welfare and the blessings of liberty. Then after that abstract preamble, the Constitution establishes a government in concrete, specific, practical terms. The current right-wing civil war seems to have almost nothing concrete about it. There are some big ideas, maybe we'll get to them this evening: post-liberalism, conservatism, libertarianism, traditionalism, so on and so forth. There's also lots of gossip, horror or delight at what some podcaster said about some other podcaster. But in terms of actual practical electoral politics, all of it comes to basically nothing. What we are experiencing is not a true partisan civil war. My proof is that everyone involved supports the same candidate, or no candidate at all for that matter. The right, at least the young right, at least the very online right, is choosing sides between this podcaster or that podcaster. They are ripping each other to shreds over it. Accusations and recriminations on all sides. But what is so strange is that all the podcasters support the same politicians. Stranger still is when they support no politicians at all. Some of the belligerents in the supposed civil war recuse themselves from practical politics entirely. They prefer the virtual polity of the live stream to the actual political community in which we live. What we are seeing is not a true partisan civil war, but rather the hyper-real simulation of a civil war. A battle fought almost exclusively in a virtual, simulated realm. This fact should not be surprising. We live in an increasingly hyper-real world. Consider the most recent political craze, transgenderism, which took the reality of women and abstracted them into the grotesque hyper-reality of trans women. Transgenderism abstracted women into a handful of parts and characteristics. It then exaggerated those parts and characteristics according to desire and imagination, and it gave us a new woman. A new woman with large simulated breasts and gaudy makeup, a greater obsession with sex than the lustiest actual woman in all of history. The only thing the new woman didn't have was a womb. But other than that, other than the main thing, other than the essential part, the new woman had everything. We are seeing a similar hyper-real simulation occurring right now in the right.
Dude, what is wrong with this?
We get all the feuding, we get all the insults, we get all the campaigning, all the factions, we even get some big ideas. The only thing we don't get is politicians. Pretty weird for a political civil war. This is why I have been, and I remain, reluctant to wade too deeply into this hyper-real political contest. It is not because I don't have opinions, I certainly do. It's not because I want to sit on the fence, I don't. It is not even because I think that the whole thing is frivolous. It's not. As the example of transgenderism shows us, hyperreality can have real practical consequences. The French sociologist Jean Baudrillard, who popularized this concept some 45 years ago, he warned that hyperreal simulations have the power and even the habit of replacing the real itself. In a world in which new and constantly advancing technology abstracts us ever further from tangible reality, this process poses an existential threat, not only to a political movement or to a political party, but to the whole political community. Politics aims at the common good of the political community, the town, the state, the nation, the empire. It enjoins politicians to seek office. In seeking office, politicians endeavor to win the support of constituents. To win the support of constituents, voters, they promise some practical solutions. In making these promises, they employ rhetoric that is attractive to most people. Ideally, 50% plus one, maybe a little bit more. Traditional political punditry aims at advising politicians and their supporters. The very word pundit comes from Sanskrit. It's a Hindu term that means learned man who advises kings. The wisdom of political pundits varies, certainly, in regions and by networks. But in decades past, political pundits would write newspaper columns. Maybe they would go on TV. And when they did that, they would support some candidate or some policy. The more abstracted, modern kind of political punditry that we see today in live streams, in podcasts, in tweets, often maintains the form of the old punditry without its essential connection to the actual political order. Candidates and policy are an afterthought, when they come up at all. Sometimes they don't even come up. This more modern political punditry aims at the common good, not of the political community, but of a niche community. It enjoins talking heads to cultivate an audience. To do so, they entertain, they educate, they share their personal lives. To accomplish that, their rhetoric tends to be a little more bombastic. It might turn off a lot of people. It might turn off most people, but that doesn't matter because it will attract some people, a large enough group to support the broader endeavor. Now, not all modern pundits are like that. Some of them are a little bit more old school. Not all podcasters are like that. Some of my best friends are podcasters. Do not call me a podcast phobe, I'm far from it. But that is how the system works. So, as we navigate this supposed right-wing civil war, I would like to put aside for a second, if I may, the personalities and the institutions that constitute the apparent factional leaders. And I would like to try, if we can, to get down to what is politically real. What are the issues that are actually at play? In no particular order. Migration. We need to drastically reduce migration to the United States. The movement of people into this country over the past 70 years constitutes the largest movement of people in recorded history. That migration has led to social fragmentation and the loss of privileges that ought to be afforded to citizens. It has led to the suppression of wages, the loss of community trust, an increase in crime, a burden on our social welfare system, a loss of patriotism, the importation of foreign conflicts, a mockery of our sovereignty in the case of illegal immigration, and the degradation of our justice system. It's not that migrants are bad people. It's not that we don't like migrants per se. Sometimes migration is good for a country. 50 years from now, you might have a conservative get up and say we need a lot more migration, and he might be right then. But sometimes migration is bad for a country, and we're in one of those moments right now. Does anybody really disagree with that? No, we're all basically on the same page, right? No matter which listen, I think we can all agree on who our favorite podcaster is, but let's say, we put that aside, let's say you like someone, no matter what faction you're in, we would all agree with that, wouldn't we? Yes. How about religion? We need more religion. Specifically, we need more Christianity. Christianity is the religion on which our nation is founded. Our founding fathers and the framers of our Constitution told us explicitly that our system does not work.
Mm. Mm. What? Oh, like upgrading their memberships and stuff. So you got to give them more information. I had to get me late last night Oreos and jellies. Sounds good. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I would just try and give them the facts, but just try and be nicer about it, maybe. If you were snapped on them or whatever. I gotta learn, but yeah. Oh yeah. That's all you gotta say, you know? Just like, just leave it there, like, damn. That speaks for itself, kind of. Gives them something to think about.
If the people are not moral and religious.
Like, what are they doing wrong? Why are they only getting one?
But there are many other examples too. You can't have liberty, individual liberty or political liberty, if you do not have virtue. Secularism failed. Atheism failed. Bible sales are up. People are going back to church. All
I hardly
laws
ever
have
eat ice
recourse
cream
to the moral
anymore.
order. There
But
is no
vanilla is
neutrality.
my favorite.
Countries do better when we encourage good things and punish bad things. We all know this. Does anyone
I
seriously
like
disagree?
vanilla because it's plain.
Nobody does. Maybe on the left they disagree. I'm not talking about the left. We're talking about supposed right-wing
But I think I like vanilla
and yet we
bean
all agree
better.
on that. How about foreign policy? That's
Vanilla
story
bean
one,
just
right?
is like
Maybe that one will
fancy
split us up.
to me.
Well, in my humble opinion, we're a global empire. That fact seems apparent enough. We have something called AFRICOM. You know, we have a command for Africa, which is ours.
Mhm.
I know they have independent nations,
Good,
but
right
we
on.
have comms everywhere. We control the whole world. We have interests all over the world. Our domestic tranquility is predicated in no small part on the dominance of the United States in global affairs. We have allies, we have enemies, we have real interests. Sometimes we intervene in conflict, sometimes we don't. How do we make that calculation? Is it through some thin ideology that you can write on the back of a napkin? Not
Sounds
in
like
my
a lot of
view.
your coworkers.
I think the way we make that calculation is through the prudence of the leaders that we elect to make those decisions. That is, I will remind you, how the system has worked since Thomas Jefferson joined Sweden and Sicily to fight the First Barbary War in 1801. So it's been going on for a long time. We should prioritize the interests of the United States over those of foreign nations. When the two coincide, great. When they don't, too bad. Does anybody disagree with that?
Be like you.
I don't care. You could call yourself an isolationist, an interventionist, a paleo-neo, this, oh, that, oh. We would all agree with that, wouldn't we? Seems pretty
Oh,
simple.
man,
It
your
doesn't seem like
coworker
there's a lot
sounds
of
like a
disagreement.
crybaby, and you sound like
How about post-liberalism?
more hard
Now we're
work-
getting a little
hard
more
worker.
esoteric. This is all the podcasts love to. The New York Times columns love talking about this, don't they? What does that term mean?
Well,
What does
that's
it mean?
like that's most
As
people.
far as I can tell, to borrow the eloquence of the Harvard professor Adrian Vermeule, possibly the only sane person on the Harvard faculty, post-liberalism is a negative category, including many different species, whose common trait is that all the members of the genus reject the central premises
Show
of
me
liberalism
the numbers.
as understood through the lens of modernity, with its exaltation and even idolatry of individual autonomy. Fair enough. Now,
So apparently
is
it
this a
takes me like
prescription or is this a description?
apparently it takes me like 6 minutes to drink a Celsius because all 3 of my Celsius videos have been like 6 minutes. That's weird. It's a pretty weird observation. But my beer review is like 12 minutes, so like twice as long to drink a beer. Usually like sip on those.
As far as I'm concerned, post-liberalism is more descriptive.
This is my just how to draw everybody and
The liberal order of the second half of the 20th century has largely collapsed. It's given way to all manner of evils on the left, as we see by the recent election of the Muslim communist in New York, RIP to the Big Apple, and it's given way on the right to a rediscovery of classical political categories, such as natural law, virtue, tradition, and so on. The observation that liberalism has degraded and failed does not mean, as some suggest, that we need to shred the Constitution, that we need to, abandon the founding of the country, reverse the founding. On the contrary, a sober reading of the Founding Fathers, sober reading of the framers of the Constitution,
probably should.
or many of the Enlightenment thinkers,
Might be able
for
to
that
do
matter,
it like online.
reveals a tremendous amount of classical political wisdom. The founders and framers wrote endlessly about the hand of Providence. Look at the writings of George Washington. The hand of Providence, which forms the foundation of the work of Adam Smith. And if any supposedly principled liberals today ever managed to read the letter concerning toleration, they would call John Locke a fascist. There's no question about it. Nations need virtue, order, restraint, and the ability to distinguish truth from falsehood. Does anybody disagree? No. Would any of the sides and the factions of the Civil War? No, I don't think so. Birth rates. I don't know. I'm just going through the litany of topics that come. Birth rates. We need to have more kids. The fact that Americans have, since the 1970s, failed to produce enough children, even to replace ourselves, constitutes an existential political crisis. At the most fundamental level of politics, if a nation does not reproduce, it dies. Our political order needs to suppress the bad things that discourage procreation. Abortion, promiscuity, delaying marriage, and so on. The political order likewise needs to promote all the good things that impel people to have kids. Marriage, moral education, a thriving economy, sure, Most important of all, religion, which tells us from on high to be fruitful and multiply, and which is the most reliable predictor of a society that can produce. Does anybody disagree? Nobody disagrees. Maybe it's just because you're all so smart at Belmont Abbey. I don't know what it is. But maybe not. I'm sure there's some political disagreement here. Broadly conservative school, all the factions, all the civil, and yet we all agree. How about racial and religious animosity? This is a good one.
I don't
This
think
is
you
a
would
big
know
one.
where you live
This'll
if you did a
divide us
police
up, won't
report.
it? Seems to me that racial and religious animosity is bad, and we should, as a general rule, discourage it. We should have charity for all people. We do not want to
They
have
have
a
to know where you
violent
live
sort of spirit.
to
We need charity for people, while recognizing that unity, rather than diversity, constitutes the strength of a nation, which means
know,
recognizing
maybe you
that
could
ethnos
just-
has some role in
I'm not
politics,
sure how it
always
works,
and
but-
everywhere, but it is one that can be softened somewhat by other bonds of unity, which ought to be encouraged. We should continue the American and broadly Western tradition of accommodating people's various religious views while maintaining the moral axioms and religious identity on which our country was founded. Does anybody disagree with that? That's the thorniest one. Does anybody disagree? If you do, bring it up in the Q&A. I think probably you don't. I think probably most people don't. This is supposed to be the heart of the Civil War, isn't it? I don't see a lot of disagreement. There's a lot more to discuss, and I was very late to this speech, so I'm sure we'll cover it in the Q&A. But by the end of this brief examination, I wonder if there is really much substance to this right-wing Civil War at all. Or if that Civil War is, like so much of our modern life, largely a distraction and illusion formed by, frankly, obscene and even pornographic, glittering images on a screen that can and likely should simply be turned off. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, now it's time for some questions.
First of all, thank you so much for the talk. I was just wondering, do you believe it is a different of principles or ends that has caused this seeming divide in the right? And how should one navigate not compromising one's core principles while still finding common ground within the party, if there is such big differences as people seem to believe there are?
Excellent question, somewhat anticipated by my talk. No, people do have different ends. There are legitimate, interesting intellectual disagreements to be had. I don't think that is what typifies the supposed civil war on the right. I think it is a hyper-real, meta-political kind of battle that actually doesn't even have politics as its chief object. I think it has the cultivation of audience as its chief object. I think it is a battle that is superimposed above the actual level of electoral politics. The proof of this is that everybody supports the same candidates. Not even just one candidate, but even like the candidate who's going to come afterward. So it's interesting in as much as bandying about abstract ideas is interesting. I love it. It's interesting in as much as gossip is interesting. I don't like to enjoy gossip, but we all do to some degree, and so it's difficult to turn it off. But as a matter of actual practical electoral politics, no. I think we're seeing something of a different species entirely.
Clap hands, clap hands.
Yeah, I just really liked your point you made about the way that modern politics has to be pungent to some degree.
Yeah.
But I think that I just want to ask you about how you can reconcile that with still remaining.
You might be able to, I'm not sure, but you might be able to do it online. Unless you want to do it on the phone. Oh, okay. Okay.
Being charitable.
Yeah. Crazy. Sounds like a weirdo.
On our dialogue with people, like you said, with those other religious
Sounds weird,
perspectives, and still respect their dignity as human beings without, that compromising their human dignity.
a great question. The right generally does this pretty well. And there have been a ton of social scientific studies on this. The left is much more likely to disown family members over politics than the right is, much more likely to unfriend people on social media than the right is, much more likely to justify and commit political violence than the right is, and so on. So it's really more a question
Does
that
he
you're
live
asked
in your
the left. In as much as we deal with it, we should be trying to think of ways to educate the left and encourage them to participate in our political community in a way that's not destructive. In as much as there are people on the right who are needlessly bombastic, or not even that, I'm bombastic too, needlessly cruel, I guess. I think it's very important to remember what St. Paul says about a reviling spirit. Mentioned it a little bit in the talk. You don't want to cultivate a reviling spirit. You don't want to cultivate genuine animosity toward people. It might help you get some views online, though you can get views by being a nice guy too. And we should also remember what St. Paul says about charity, that we can have everything in the world, every advantage, every virtue, but if we lack charity,
is this your
we're
first
nothing,
police
we're
report
like a
on
tiny
him, or have you
dog.
already done
And I'm not just standing up here moralizing or evangelizing, though I certainly, would encourage everyone to, come to our Lord and find the good news and go to church and all that. But at a real level of practical politics, we have to remember some ancient wisdom. Sic transit gloria mundi. I tried something out with my wife the other day, sweet little Elisa, and with my best friend, who's a really intelligent guy, very well-read on politics, philosophy, and everything else. And I just pulled up a picture of a guy.
I don't know.
I said, do you know who this
Depends,
guy is?
how much what
And
he's
both of
doing,
them,
I
these are
guess.
very intelligent people. My wife has a PhD, for goodness sakes. That doesn't mean much these days, but I'll take it on my word. She's very intelligent, very well educated.
You could do it anonymously,
And
anonymously,
I
like,
showed it to them.
like a Yelp
Neither of them had
review.
any idea who it was.
Like one of
The
your
person was Dan
one of
Quayle,
your employees, such
who
and
was
such.
Vice President of the United States
I don't know,
in
just
our
looking.
lifetimes. And so then I thought, that's kind of funny. Let's see how far we can take this. So then I went back. Obviously, they knew who George Bush was. Went back before that, showed a picture of a guy.
Because
Did you know this guy? No. That's
if you leave reviews, it's gonna catch the eye of management, and then if management has enough complaints, they'll talk to him about it, and then he might just stop. Because I'm not sure if the police will even do what much about it, but if he knows that he's could get in trouble or lose his job, then he probably wouldn't do it. I don't know.
Walter Mondale. He too was Vice President of the United States. I go back. I say, you know who this guy is? No.
Or
That's
if
Gerald
his
Ford. Not
or
only
if
was he
his
Vice President,
manager
he was
even talked to him
President,
like,
too.
you're getting
Remember,
reviews online for
intelligent
whatever
people
you're
I'm looking at.
doing, so you need to stop, and then you might
It
just
all
stop.
goes away very quickly, and so I'm all for political
And I
action,
know you
and I
could do
think
it
that we need
anonymously,
to
it's
establish
like
and promote a
Yelp
political
or
order that
whatever
conduces to the good of the community. It's not everything. It's going to pass away. Getting the click, passing the legislation, winning the presidency of the United States. In the scheme of eternity, it's nothing. And so if you're, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? That's something you have to keep in mind. Yep.
Hi, Michael. You mentioned on Monday's show Pope Leo's discussion about internet and addiction, and one of the topics you touched on a little bit was gambling. And I was just curious what your the conservative and Christian view of that is. It feels like it's been more liberalized over the course of, say, 50 years or so. And I was just curious what your take on it is. It's spreading across the country, especially with sports gambling. Not only that, just the lottery and casinos. And I was just curious what your views are on that and what it should be for conservatives and Christians.
Yeah, I think it's bad, and I think it's spread because the conservative movement has adopted a lot of libertarianism and has unfortunately allowed liberty to be abused into license, has adopted a kind of exaltation of individual autonomy, procedural norms over substantive goods, and we've seen this play out in a lot of ways, but gambling or pornography, which the Holy Father addressed to, I think are good examples of it. I like placing bets sometimes. Actually, my aforementioned buddy, who didn't know who Dan Quayle was, every time we go out to lunch, get a drink, have a cigar, whatever, we play rock, paper, scissors, shoot for the bill. We've been doing this for over a decade. Many thousands of dollars at this point have been won and lost. You like to think that it evens out in the end, but I enjoy that kind of gambling, in the sense that I'd happily buy my buddy a drink anyway, and it's probably going to shake out in the end. It's just kind of a fun distraction. I ain't betting the farm on it. I'm not relying on that for my income. I do notice that as gambling, especially online sports gambling, spreads, you do see attendant vices to it. Domestic violence, not the least of it. I've seen how gambling can become a real problem. And so I don't think it's the sort of thing we ought to encourage. Here again, I think there is a via media that we can arrive at with prudence. The church doesn't say that all forms of betting are evil or morally inadmissible, but it can really fall away. It can get out of our control. And in pertaining to the talk tonight, in the kind of hyper-real, virtual, simulated world that we live in, it's even easier for these things to run away with us. So, I think it's wonderful that the Holy Father is addressing these problems. I'm not surprised. In part, I think he chose the name Leo because Pope Leo XIII was able to address the massive technological and social problems of his age through Rerum Novarum and other encyclicals. He clearly wants to do that with the internet and AI. Something to be on guard about, though. And inasmuch as the American right is rethinking itself, I think there's been a clear observation that liberal neutrality and proceduralism and cowardice, moral cowardice, has not worked out very well. And so we need to have the clarity to say what's good and what's bad, which we all know anyway. And then we need to have the courage, which is the prerequisite of all of the other virtues, to actually enforce it. And then when the licentious people come up and they say, hey man, don't impose your morality on me, then we say, well look, all government imposes some kind of morality or other, and I just as soon have the good one.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for coming. I just want you to know I appreciate people like you that have the courage to speak against the left, when in a society where we're looked down upon as being on the right.
So thank you.
But I voted for Trump. I'm Catholic just like you. I really like a lot about what he's doing. And, your talk was about the differences within the right. And concerning the issue of immigration and deportation, I feel somewhat guilty for voting for Trump when I see the videos of, the ICE raids deporting seemingly innocent families. And, I think, okay, if we deport them, it takes years to come back legally. And, I lived in Mexico.
How do you seem
I wasn't poor or anything, and it was hard. Living in a developing country is really hard. And so I just wanted to ask you, how should we deal with this issue of immigration, keeping in mind what God said about, I was a stranger and you let me in, right? I was naked and you clothed me, because I truly feel really bad for all these people dealing with the cartels and all that.
Of course, certainly. And I think the first thing we have to do is establish a clear picture of what's actually going on, which you will not get, from CNN, which is blaring the one Abuela that they deported. They're going to plaster her face over the screen for 24 hours a day. That's not really what's going on. So of course we're told to be good to the sojourner and the guests. But part of being a sojourner and a guest is that you go home at some point. So there's no biblical injunction to just tolerate illegal aliens who come into our country, exploit our most basic laws, avail themselves of our welfare systems, commit crimes, and all the rest of it. We are permitted to have a country, and citizens do have some rights to establish that. Now, of course, we have to be good to the sojourner. We have to be good to the poor. We have to. All of these things are very, very important. So what is required is prudence. And then getting back to the first point, what is really going on? The Trump administration is almost exclusively deporting very bad people. There are some 16 million illegal aliens in the country. The number might even be significantly higher than that. They do not have the time to go in, and take the paella out of Abuela's hand and deport all of the grandmas. That's not what's going on. They're going after criminals, many of whom they already have identified. Many of the people they're deporting are already in prison, and they're just trying to speed up their way to get them out of the country. And then furthermore, actually the largest number of people who have deported during the first part of the Trump administration are people who are self-deporting, because the law is finally being enforced again. Order has finally been restored, and they don't want Tom Holman to show up to their house with a billy club in the middle of the night. So they're going back, and perhaps if they're going to re-enter the country, they're going to do it the right way. It's also worth remembering that the people who are coming here are, by and large, economic migrants, virtually all of them. The Democrats pretend that they are refugees. They manifestly are not refugees. If they were refugees, they would have stopped in one of the many countries along the way before they'd gotten to the U.S. They're coming to the U.S. because it has a vibrant economy, which that's great. You know, I would want to come to the U.S. too. But Americans have a say over who gets to come into their country, over their migration policy. We have, without question, the most liberal and generous migration policy ever in the history of the world, of any polity, and that has caused a lot of social problems. So, you know, we have to establish our migration policy with prudence, and we need to recognize sometimes we have more room, come on in, and sometimes we're a little bit full, and we need to, for the purpose of maintaining social solidarity, maintaining the integrity of our economy, maintaining our criminal justice system, we have to slow the roll. And I think at this point, most people would say that we have to drastically reduce migration, both legal and illegal. You don't need to be cruel to people for that. You don't need to say, I hate Mexicans or something. I love Nicaraguans because they roll my delicious Mayflower cigars. I have not a hint of racial animosity in me. But, you know, these are practical questions in politics, and there's always a danger posed by migration. That's been known since Socrates.
Good evening, Michael. My question is on love and romance. You are no doubt an expert in this field. In fact, my girlfriend just bought me a beautiful box of Mayflower cigars. I'm sure that you have no doubt that I must ask her in marriage right this now.
That's the kind of woman you want to be the mother of your children.
Yes,
That's
sir. You have a probably chaotic schedule, and I was just wondering, how have you balanced working tirelessly for God and for work and for your family and for your kids?
Cruel to people for that. You don't need to say I hate Mexicans or something. I love Nicaraguans because they roll my delicious Mayflower cigars. I have not a hint of racial animosity in me. But, you know, these are practical questions of politics, and there's always a danger posed by migration. That's been known since Socrates.
Thank you. Good evening, Michael. My question is on love and romance. You are no doubt an expert in this field. In fact, my girlfriend just bought me a beautiful box of Mayflower cigars. I'm sure that you have no doubt
Marry
that
her.
I
Marry
must
her.
ask her in hand in marriage right this now.
That's the kind of woman you want to be the mother of your children.
Yes,
That's
sir. You have a probably chaotic schedule, and I was just wondering, how have you balanced working tirelessly for God and for work and for your family and for your kids and keeping it all put together?
Because I have a saintly wife named Sweet Little Elisa. I have a saintly wife. I've known my wife since we were 11. It's possible that we met at age 10 in the elementary school district orchestra. We were both very bad violinists, but it might have been 6th grade homeroom. Dated in high school, split for college, got back together at the end of college, and now we live in the very same house. So she's known from the beginning the kinds of things that I intend to do in my career. She's known how I behave. We can have conversations without even uttering any words. So there was no management of expectations really there. The flip side of that is I need to arrange my very chaotic, hectic professional life in such a way that I can maximize every moment that I'm home. So for instance, I've been on the road constantly the last 3 weeks, and if I have 3 trips that I have to take, then I will get on an airplane 3 times and get on an airplane to go back 3 times if it means that I can have even, 18 hours or something at home. Because realistically, for a father who works outside the home, you're really only seeing kids for like 3 hours a day if you're lucky. You get maybe breakfast, and then when you get home, you can play around a little bit, give them a bath, and put them to bed. That's about it. So if I can really maximize that, then we're in a manageable situation. And then there have to be times where it ebbs and flows, and there are seasons of very intense work and seasons where you pull back from that. But there's a modern era which says, I'm going to get my whole career in order, I'm going to become the CEO of the company, the President of the United States, and then
Then I'll have time for family. And then just slightly before I'm on my deathbed, then I might make time for religion. And it's a really bad idea. You have to do all three of those all the time, all at once. Your religion obviously has to suffuse your entire life, your professional life and your family life. And well, the moment that you lose the integrity of those three things, they're all going to suffer.
Hey Michael, it's good to hear you talk. My question for you is, how do you think in 2028, after 12 years of the President Trump being such a larger-than-life figure for the Republican Party, how do you think the Republicans will be able to unify over a different figure who is not Trump?
Trump will have to crown the figure. That's what's going to happen. I'm sure plenty of people, governors and senators, who want to be president, just like there were plenty of people in 2024 who wanted to do that. It's just not going to happen. Trump is the dominant figure. I'll give myself a little wiggle room on this. If the economy really collapses, if something, totally unforeseen occurs, then I guess President Trump could lose his position in the party. But even then, I'm not so sure. The guy came within a 20th of an inch of having his brains blown out in Butler. They prosecuted him 4 times. They raided his home. They upended every standard and norm of American politics to try to get this guy. He came out stronger than ever. I don't think there's anything that would displace him. I think, to quote a great man, he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue in New York and he wouldn't lose a single vote. So it's going to have to be a coronation, which is a very good thing. Once again, getting back to some of what we were talking about tonight, there are some people who love contest and competition for its own sake. There's some people who love free speech, just for its own sake. That's not what speech is for. We like healthy, robust exchange of ideas for arriving at the truth, for advancing the good. We like presidential primaries because it's supposed to give us a really strong candidate and a unified party. We might be able to start out the gate here. And because we're in the strange political circumstance of President Trump having a non-consecutive second term, he's only the second man in American history to do that. Because of that, it kind of feels like running for re-election. It kind of feels like presumably the vice president and perhaps Marco Rubio are going to be running as incumbents. I think the party unifies. But the flip side of that is the election rises and falls on the strength of Trump. Trump remains the figure. He was the man 10 years ago. This is a little more than that now, and he's going to be the man 2.5 years from now. And who knows? That guy's so healthy, and he's more aspartame, even than blood now, and he's probably going to be preserved into like the 24th century.
Hey, Michael, you mentioned the positives of religious unity and charity, which I agree with you on, but how do you establish a unity between religions, particularly Christianity and Islam, that have fundamentally core and opposing values? And how do you have a society where you have religious freedom when these two religious ideologies have core tenets that oppose each other?
You have to circumscribe the public practice of Islam, I'm afraid. It's the only thing that one can do. You can't have the call to prayer blaring out in every single American town and city. It's just preposterous. Because religion is not merely a private thing. People like Barack Obama tried to pretend, as he was curtailing freedom of religion in America, tried to pretend that religion is a thing you do when you close your eyes and think really hard in your head. That's not what it is. We're incarnate creatures. Religion's in your body. It's in your community where 2 or more are gathered. It's in the public square. There are creches. There are Christmas displays. And we're not going to have Ramadan displays. Because we're a Christian country. We're not a Muslim country. And we're not going to victimize Muslims. We're not going to be nasty to Muslims. But this is Aristotle's law of non-contradiction, where 2 things are in fundamental opposition. You got to pick. You got to kind of pick one. And we're a Christian country. So with Islam, there's some people amid the right-wing civil war that's largely not affecting actual practical politics. There is a suggestion that there can be some kind of Christian-Muslim political alliance. And look, I would love to get votes in Dearborn, Michigan. In many ways, it's much easier to deal with a Muslim than it is to deal with some liberal atheist. At least the Muslim believes in God. At least he recognizes there is a moral foundation. But Christianity and Islam have been in conflict for 1,400 years. So, Islam has attempted to conquer the West since 732. The Battle of Poitiers was fought 150 miles outside of Paris in the early 8th century, and only because Charles the Hammer, Charlemagne's grandpa, was able to beat him back, did we get a breather. And then they tried it again at the Battle of Lepanto, 1571. Because of Our Lady's intercession, they beat him back, and again at the Battle of Vienna. And then Angela Merkel in Germany just invited them all in. That was kind of a strange turn of events. So we have to be aware of that. And we don't need to make it personal or petty. I got in trouble the other day on Twitter because I said that I thought an elegant hijab was nicer than what passes for a lot of modern women's fashion. And I like a nice headscarf. You go to Mass, women wear lovely mantillas. What's so wrong? I'm not saying full burqa, I meant like a burlap sack. I'm just going nice headscarf. Anyway, I'll get in trouble for it again. But I've traveled in Muslim countries and I've had lovely interactions with Muslims, and so I don't have any personal animosity. But you ultimately have Christianity, which says that Christ is the divine logos of the universe, and you've got Islam, which is a voluntarist religion, which, as Pope Benedict XVI pointed out in the Regensburg Address, holds that Allah could command his followers to worship idols, and they would have to do it. Those are very fundamentally different views of God. And Islam arises out of Christian heresy anyway, according to Nestorianism. So, there's dialogue to be had there, and I'd love for all the Muslims to come on in. The water's warm. But, assuming they're not all going to convert, then they have to recognize that when they live in Christian countries, there are Christian standards and norms. And unfortunately, I'm happy to say that, but the virility of public Christianity has weakened, so much so that Hilaire Belloc pointed out in his book on the Crusades that after we failed to take Damascus, after the failure of the Crusades, Islam was essentially intact, and it was Christianity that became spiritually weak. And he predicted in, 1930, that Islam, which lay dormant, would rear its head again and would be strong again, and that's what we're seeing now. So the question is, do the Christians have the courage of their convictions, have the confidence to actually promote their religion in public? Or are they all squishy atheists who are going to let the Muslims run roughshod over them? Looking at the UK and France right now, it doesn't look good.
Thank you for your speech. I was just wondering what you think we can do to cultivate a culture of discussion instead of this one that we're in where we think we're at war with each other because we have different thoughts.
I wish that I was the only one who were to decide that. I wish that we were the only ones who were to decide that. But in any battle, your opponent gets a say, and the left doesn't want to talk. My friend Charlie Kirk, who I'm sure many people followed and loved, he was probably the most prominent promoter of civil debate in the entire country. He would go to campuses, and there'd be hundreds or thousands of people there to hear him. And he was so respectful, and he put his microphone down when they were talking, and he'd hear him out, and they killed him for it. And then not only did they kill him, but they minimized his murder, and they excused it, they justified it, and in many cases they celebrated it at every level of society, from people sitting in Congress to people on TV to that girl you went to high school with. Just everyone did it. And that's a pity, because I'd like to talk to them, but we're not the ones who are just inviting them from the holidays, and we're not the ones who can't have a respectful discussion. So there are things that we can do to make them listen and to engage with us, but that would require the reassertion of some kind of order. And so in the wake of Charlie's murder, everyone was making bromides about how we just need to double and triple down on the free marketplace of ideas. I thought that was preposterous. You can't have a free marketplace